to Crypto Jiu-Jitsu show, and I've got Bloobum here and Crypto Kool-Aid. What's going on, fellas? I'm 43 OG.
Yeah, man. Just with those mad Jiu-Jitsu crypto skills, hey?
Yeah, that's right.
That, by the way, that has nothing to do with Jiu-Jitsu.
What's that?
Have you seen that meme? How it's like got Jiu-Jitsu, but it's spelt with the Jew, Jiu-Jitsu, and it's got like this orthodox Jiu-Jitsu guy just like doing this pose, and at the bottom it's got "They will win."
What we got? Let's see. Red Squirrel and Mango Junkie in the chat. What's going on, gentlemen? How are you?
Mango. How's it going? Red
What's going on, fellas, in the chat? What's up? What's up?
In the ideas room. I reckon we should start calling the chat the ideas room.
The ideas room.
Well, the OH, the original Hexagons, is better than OG.
Yeah.
The OH is the original Alpha, and then we have the OH, which is the original Hexagons.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been meaning to do this. I've been waiting to do this just to see what it sounds like. So all you guys with high fidelity headphones on.
Yeah, I want you to tell me how great my new mic sounds. I just blew a big. This is a bit of a hex flex. This one over here.
There you go. You sound good.
Nice.
Yeah, I still have my old Rode from when I was an ICO influencer in 17. So
that'll work.
It works, but eventually I'll get an actual streaming setup when I decide to actually get shit together and make myself a background, considering I'm the background guy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to Bluey before. Like I'm in my living room here. I can't wait to have a proper setup where I can just set it up. I don't have to I need to put the tripod up, the camera. I've got to set everything up every single time. It's a massive pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, like I still haven't hooked up anything from when I moved from Seattle down to LA because I've been knee deep in work, and it's just a lot to fucking set up. Like I have a lot of monitors and a lot of stuff for the regular work side, but if you want to add the DSLR, green screen pop cam, and like all the rest, it's just a lot.
It's a lot to do every time. But if once you've got it set up, if you can just leave it there and you can set up a green. I don't really want to do a green screen. I would rather just have a proper. If you've got a DSLR and a nice camera with a very short sort of focal length, then you can have a nice background and it just looks really nice. You don't need to have that green screen.
I mean, realistically, you're right. The camera's the key to absolutely everything. And
you just need a bit of depth and some plants and maybe a couple of pictures or something.
That'd be exactly your background there, Bluey. You got some plants.
Yeah, good point.
Plants and a picture that we can see. Well done.
Just need to do what I'm doing.
That's exactly what the Bluey's doing. Then you're good.
So, Bluey, you messaged me, was it yesterday? And you're like, hey, let's jump on stream. I want to test my mic.
That's it.
Your mic is sounding fantastic.
Yeah, I'm happy. Well, it's having a lot of complaints. And it's nice not having to project, like having to do the theater thing.
And you've had a couple of streams recently where people have been complaining about your low audio.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good work getting that.
I've also wondered if there's a bit of a delay on the mic.
Nah, you sound beautiful. You sound really good.
And that's if there is a delay. That's why sometimes it's hard to fit into the conversation because you're always talking over people. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you're responding much more quickly to me when I'm speaking through this mic. So
yeah,
cool.
I lowered my bit rate as well down to 1440. I mean, Restream only lets me do max 60 frames per second, 720 anyway. So,
well, I mean, all that's also correlated based on your internet speed. Remember, so like you want to compress based on what your bandwidth is for what your throughput is.
I also wanted to rubbish internet in Australia. It's rubbish.
Yeah. What I also wanted to talk about is because I've been hanging out in the Hedron chat quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's surprising. Didn't know that.
And there's just absolute gold nuggets being thrown down there by there's this guy called Jack, which you know, OG. I'm not sure if you do, Kool-Aid. But he's been talking a lot about all sorts of stuff to do with crypto, and it's just gold nugget after gold nugget. And last night he was going on about security, and so yeah, because Kool-Aid, you kind of like that's your kind of area, and OG, that's your area, and I thought I'd just like mention some of the things that he thought were good ideas, which I think are actually really great ideas as well. And one of them is to have a new seed phrase for every single stake that you do.
Yeah, what you want to do is like all of us OGs that have stakes when we come out of, let's say you're pre-big payday, you're pretty substantial. So when it comes out, you should probably split them into 5 or 10, right? Just worst case scenario. You want to split those into 5 or 10, and like the class that we talked about that we can't really share. What you want to do is figure out how do you protect those 5 different seed phrases, wallets, things, especially if you are custodian for your family, mom, brother, cousin, best friend's kids, right? It's like you're the one that understands it more than they do. You need to look at how you handle that in the future, because those 15-year stakes need to be secure for 15 years. That's a long time, vastly long time.
Yeah, and so his technique is to, first off, get your hardware wallet, open up, get a new seed, like get a new address with a new seed, write it down, scrub it, so it you do a factory reset or whatever, put it back in to make sure that you can get back in easily, and then he puts some sort of encryption that only you know on top of it. So there's all sorts of different things that you could do. You might reverse.
What do you mean by when you say? Can you just tell me what you mean by that?
He's wrapping encryption,
what I'll do is some sort of encryption that only you know. So like maybe it's you reverse all of the words, or maybe you have like 4 digits, like 2, 4, 5, 6. And what you do is you reverse 2 and 4, and you reverse 5 and 6. Or maybe you pick out you do four numbers like 2, 4, 5, 6, and then you pick other words on the list, on that BIP list or whatever, and you put them in those positions, so that you know that if anybody ever finds those seeds, those 4 words are decoy ones. So you do a combination of those things or something like that. So you do some sort of encryption that's easy to remember, and then you do either what you do, Larry, where you kind of encrypt and put it somewhere. He was actually talking about block locker. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, sure. BitLocker is, I think, what you're talking about. BitLocker.
No, it's block locker. It's on the secret network.
Oh, that's cool.
BitLocker is the Windows 10
the encryption from the hard drive.
Disk encryption, yeah. But block locker is a tool that you can use on. Were you saying it was the secret network?
Yeah, it's on the secret network, and it's basically, so you're putting it on the blockchain, and so I tested it out today, like and just to see how easy it was to use. I wouldn't say it's for noobs. I'd say it's something that you want to just definitely have a play around with quite a lot and get to know really well before you kind of put anything on there. And yeah, there's a maybe I should just tell the web address.
I'm looking at it right now. It's the one on phantom.com, BlockLocker, because it's also
btn.group.
btn.group. One sec. Let me pull it up.
btn.group. Yeah. And
it's very similar to what we did with my private sessions. Keeping your seed words offline is kind of a noob way to think of things. What you want to do is always keep your seed words encrypted, however you handle them, period. However you do that, that's up to you. Do your own research. Don't be a noob. But like things like this is good.
See, I think the really key thing here as well is that you can set up your security really nicely for yourself, But the real key is like, what if I die? How do I get my stuff to my loved ones?
Yes, sir.
And especially if those loved ones are non-techie people. That's the real kind of where you do have to be kind of creative and kind of think through how they will do it in the future.
I think with when it comes to seed phrases and internet, me personally, to the average person, I would say stay away from that unless you need to have a very high level of technical proficiency to even begin to consider something like that.
Correct.
So for the average person, do something a bit more simple than that.
Well, if you're going to do things simple, do it completely. So if you're going to store your seed words offline, pay for a safety deposit box and put them in there, along with your hardware wallet seed phrases, right? Because you got to do both, right? Both the seed phrases to your wallet and then your hardware seed keys also need to be there, right? You can't go half-ass and pretend like writing something on a piece of paper secures you from anything, because it really doesn't. You give yourself anonymity to one vector of attack, but many, many others, because you're not doing the full lap around the circuit, right? You know what I mean? You got to make sure that you do everything. So if you're new, you should look at understanding on how to secure something like your marriage certificate, your will, your seed freeze, and everything else in one good, solid location that's not your house, right? It breaks the paradigm that you could have someone break into your house, act of God, or whatever.
House burns down.
Yeah, house burns down, flood, right? Like if I have a flood or a fire, I'm grabbing my cats and I'm running. I'm not worrying about where my seed phrase is buried under my bed or something like that, right? You know what I mean? So,
that's why these online things with encryption are so good, because you can just have them there, and as long as it's strong enough. And the only trick is to how you set it up so that somebody can access it in the case of your death.
Right.
And maybe that's like, if it is something like just you've got these 4 numbers and those are 4 fake words in the seed phrase, then you tell your loved one, all you have to do is remember these numbers. That's all you have to do. And then later when they get the instructions, they'll know the numbers to use.
Right. So one thing that I use is an apricorn, right? So an apricorn is essentially, and I do many, many different ways that I do encrypted dead drops, but it's an encrypted USB file, right? And so, like, at the end of the day, if I had this and I gave it to a loved one, or I put it in a safety deposit box or in my will, it's encrypted too. So you just need to know how to get inside it. So you should look at those kind of things as options, along with a hardware wallet. I mean, you saw the dude that just hacked the Trezor One, right? You saw that YouTube episode?
Sorry, say that again?
The Trezor One has been hackable for ages.
Sure. But
that's the other thing that Jack sort of said. He said, like, you scrub every single hardware device after you've, like, I mean, you're going to have a hot wallet, obviously, that you're going to, need to use more on a daily or weekly basis. But apart from your hot wallet, like all of the other cold stuff, you just don't have it on any device whatsoever. And like, if you've got those seeds safely stored, and then you've got the address, so you can track it all. Know what's happening and when it has to come out and all of that kind of stuff.
Hey, and just another level of, like, paranoia for us Australians. When you travel in and out of Australia, you can have, like, they can just
take your phone and you have to give them your passcode.
But even if a policeman stops you, you have to open your phone for them. Like they can ask you to do that.
I was actually thinking about that today, and I was thinking, if I came back to Australia and I knew that was going to happen, obviously
you wipe your phone.
You have to do a factory reset before you get on your plane.
Sure, that's it. Sure.
But it's kind of like, as soon as you hand them over your phone, that's it. That phone is basically a security risk. Like, they could put anything on it. Who knows what they've done to it? And so you just have to end up throwing that phone out. And so I was wondering if you could kind of sue the government to pay for your phone, because you can kind of say, listen, okay, you can take this now, but you got to buy me a new one, because as soon as that's gone, that's busted. I can't use that anymore.
I would say, this is what I would say: get an old phone that you have, and just keep that. But the only problem is if you got your real phone, you're gonna have to keep a phone in every country, aren't you? You can't.
Well, the thing is that your phone is a duplication of your 2FAs, because if you learn how to store yourself, which I can't share, you have two factors, right? Your seed phrases and your 2FAs. If you store your seed phrases correctly, your 2FAs is all you need to get back in. So you have a dummy phone that has your 2FAs, but no one can really access. Like, if they took my phone, they couldn't access, let's say, Authy, because that's going to have a fingerprint to get in. So they may be able to open the phone, but they're not going to be able to open the Authy to get to your 2FA, so your fingerprint. So that's a start. But you also should have a dummy phone in case someone actually steals your phone, and now you just lost your 2FAs. Like, everyone should always have multiple dummy phones.
Shouldn't you? Don't you think you should, like with the 2FAs, you should keep a copy of the QR code?
With the method that I taught you, yes, but you should save your copy. But also you can use Authy, because Authy's 2FAs are cloud storaged. So as long as you're using biometrics, then you're fine, because you need your thumbprint.
It's that method of storing the QR code. It's funny. I actually was already doing like half of the things that you were telling me about. I was already doing half of them, but I've got my own method. I was telling you, I've got my own twist on how I do some of those things. And like I do it differently. Like I won't go into details, because that in itself is just bad.
Right. Yeah. But the difference is that understanding why is the most important thing, not the how. The how is a unique paradigm that everyone does individually, and that's also your security, because you're doing it uniquely paired to how you work. But the difference is understanding what an attack vector is and how they can get you. Whether that's, again, coming into a different country where they're going to scurry through your phone, right? You don't want anything bubbling to the surface. You want to make sure that everything's clean and green.
It's not only your phone that they can take; they can just take all your devices and look through them.
I mean, the Australian government can also edit your stuff and put stuff on it. Like, they're allowed to do that.
Wow.
It's just nuts, isn't it? They're allowed to edit stuff on your device. Like, they can basically, they're allowed to plant stuff. That's what they're saying, isn't it?
So I've said this before. If they were trying to confiscate something of mine, I would not unlock it. I would rather it go to a judge and cop at that point and say, look, you need to hash my hard drive. Like, I need a hash of my hard drive before then you can image it. I need a hash of it. We image it. My lawyers will have the image and the hash, and then you guys can have whatever the fuck you like with it. But then when I get it back, if the hash is not the same, then I know you guys have fucking changed shit.
I mean, I would just nuke it to begin with. If someone ever grabbed my phone, period, I think it's dead weight, and I would immediately factory reset and format that fucker, because everything that I would need would already been backed up, because I pay attention to that stuff. But if anyone ever has your device, you never touch it again. You nuke it. And that's why you need to learn how to bet. Anyone that's new, take a security class. This is your future money here. Learn the technology. Learn how to back up things, encrypt it in a cloud. If you don't understand what that means, do your research, right? It's not like it's no harder than learning how to send money to a MetaMask file. It's confusing for most people. But if you can understand that, you can do your own research and figure out how to encrypt stuff and how to have an image and how to have all the rest of that if something happened.
See, I reckon it's a really good idea to have a different seed for each stake.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're going to be managing a whole lot of seeds anyway. So you may as well just get a good way of organizing it all, and just manage your keys.
I'm not convinced.
It's just all spread out.
I'm not convinced that the average person needs that. Like, you can just passphrase protect, and every passphrase has like a whole set of new addresses. And I'm not sure that the work Like, I'm not like, if you feel comfortable doing that, like, do it. But I'm not sure that is what, just the average person out there should be doing. Like, they're gonna have enough. Like, they have to keep one seed phrase like under lock and key. Like, if having a whole ton of them, I don't know that that's going to help them.
Well, it really depends on how OG and how forward thinking you are, right? So if you're thinking about a 15-year stake, how do you protect something for 15 years? Because we went over it when I was talking. I don't trust a piece of hardware for 15 years. 15 years ago, there was barely an iPhone 1, right? Their hard drives were 250, maybe 250 gigs. We weren't even terabytes yet. Like, the world moves on faster. So if you're really looking into things and you did well this year or well next year or well after the year before or after that, I would take the glean of those gains and be like, how do I want to future protect myself? Right? It's kind of the analogy. People want to say, when Lambo? And like, well, do you know how to drive the Lambo? You're going to drive Lambo in a mountainy country without chains during the winter. There are variables that you need to look at based on your social constraints. And as you go up the ladder in both prestige and wealth, you should take the time to learn more about what that means. Otherwise, you're someone driving a car that you don't have to know how to operate.
Yeah,
Hey, Ash.
no, I agree totally. Like, you need to get, if there's anything that you study over the course of time that you like do well in crypto, it should be security. Like, that should be the number one thing. Because if you value that, if you value like doing well in crypto, well, you need to learn how to make sure you hang on to that value.
Sure. And what I can definitely share is look at an app called Hushed. And so what you ideally, especially if you're a streamer that has your face shown, you should change your primary phone number to something that nobody has, period, no one. And then have your primary input line go through Hushed. That way you have a VoIP. And then like you have your crypto friends that talk through a different number. That way it's also protected. And then you have a third number for whatever you want to do. But your primary SMS, which is what they're going to fucking go after for SIM card swapping, it doesn't exist anywhere. You don't have it listed, right? So at that point, you've separated your primary access line, which is what's going to be to reset your 2FAs, all the rest of that stuff. But nobody has it at a primary phone number that you ever connect to. It's meant for analog device authentication, and nobody has it. Right?
So Hushed is basically like you can have multiple phone numbers.
Correct.
With it?
Yeah, so it's a yearly subscription for 3 numbers. And one for your primary friends, one for your crypto friends, and one for whatever. And you can actually burn them whenever you want. So it's essentially like a burner number.
What's your website?
You can burn. I mean, you can.
Yeah, it's just Hushed. Just in your Google Hushed VoIP. 1 second. Error. Yeah, just Hushed.com.
And so you only get 3 numbers, or can you have more?
I believe you could pay for more, but I know the subscription plan I have is for 3 numbers because I don't even need 3.
And you can burn a number and get a new number
anytime you want. You can burn the number.
And what happens if you travel overseas?
It's everywhere. In fact, one thing about Hush is you can change the number to be anywhere in the world. So if I wanted an Australian number, I could have an Australian number.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's good, and this is like alpha I can share because you should know where your phone numbers go because that's one vector of attack. And also, when you add someone on Telegram, there's a giant little blue box that says "Share them my phone number." Even if you tell Telegram to not share your phone number, and I always add my friends, you guys. But like, if you don't know that, there's a box that will share your phone number. If they share your phone number, that's what they're going to SIM swap you with.
Yeah.
So also call your carrier to set up a PIN. But I don't trust carriers shit. I never trust anything that I can't touch.
And you trust Hushed though?
Well, I mean, it's putting a middleware in between. right? So it's making it where the number I give you or me or anyone else, business cards, websites, is not your primary SMS, which is used to authenticate your phone, which is used to authenticate your 2FA, which is used to authenticate everything else. And once you get that dead drop, you create breadcrumbs backwards. That's how, if it was someone evil that thought like me, that's how I would start. I definitely wouldn't leave that up to chance, especially not with something like 15-year sake.
Are there Australian numbers, or is it just the US, the UK, and Canada?
I haven't tried for Aussie stuff. Otherwise, I'd be riding a wallaby with, a Hex Mac. that's what I joke with him all the time. He's the war wallaby rider. But no, I haven't tried to do any Australian numbers. But I mean, I think you could do it. Let's find out. But even if it's not, look at what does this in Australia, right? You just want to have the application or the solution isn't the problem. It's the methodology on how you wrap it together as what you should think of, right? And so, they have to have something like this in Australia.
It should be something around.
Yeah.
It's got to be something around.
If not, invent it, right? You know what I mean? We just need to get you guys off that goddamn giant island over to Portugal.
We can leave now.
You guys can? Okay.
I've got to apply for an exemption still.
What? Why do you have to apply for an exemption still?
Because I'm not doodly whacked.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. That can't last forever, though.
Well, it's lasted this long. I mean, there's no reason for it in the first place for anyone. And now they've taken it away just for you guys.
Let's just be careful words-wise. We don't want to say any special words.
Yeah, I am careful.
Exactly.
Doodly whacker. Doodly whacked.
Doodly whacked.
I'm not doodly whacked.
I just say we send the Hex yacht down and have you guys.
The super yacht. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm just going to get on the plane and leave. Just going to get on the plane and leave.
I mean, that's what I was talking about Serena about escaping Canada. It's kind of the same problem. It's really kind of a weird place to be alive right now in this particular age. We have so much tech coming forward. We have so much stuff coming forward. Then we have so much iron curtains. You know what I mean? That are being put in place to try to prevent that, and that. It's kind of a wild ride if you think about it.
Sure is.
The chilling effect.
The answer is love, everyone. It's all just
fear.
fear.
I agree.
It's all just fear.
Yeah, I agree. It's but we're gonna have to get out of it. We're gonna have to move on. I think everyone's ready to move on. Hey, everyone's ready to move on.
I think
everyone.
Yeah.
Some people are just hanging on to wanting to be right or whatever, but I just say we move on.
I mean, I say we move. That's why I think Portugal.
Well, we were chatting about that earlier today, Kool-Aid, or for you last night. About what we might do in Europe at some stage. I look forward to meet people watching. Like, we haven't met each other. I've been streaming with Bluey for over a year, like almost a year and a half.
And you guys live in the same island.
Well, but he's in the same town.
Do you know how far we are apart? Like, he was in Melbourne. But we haven't been in Melbourne since we've been streaming.
No, man. I left after that first lockdown, and I just haven't been back.
Yeah, you got the.
I got the hell out.
Yeah.
I have such good memories of that. Like, because we were camping along the way up the coast, like getting out of Melbourne, and then like they locked the borders down just after we got out. So there was just this little window of opportunity, and then we got out. And it was at the time of the AA lobby, so I was like in campsites, going with my phone to try to get good internet somewhere, so I could put my ETH into the AA lobby for that day. Then listen to Hexo in the morning.
I mean, those are the good old days. There were only like 10 or 15 of us. Now there's so much content, which is great. Pass the torch, but there's just so much content.
Yep. Yeah, it's nonstop.
It's good. It's good.
But Bluey, you're up like north, so that's like the difference between New York and Florida for you guys.
Oh, really?
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a bit of distance between Bluey and I. Like we are not near each other at all. But I've got a feeling we're all gonna like get to meet each other maybe later this year or next year sometime.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's going to be in Europe. Let's
yeah.
make it Europe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, once we get like next to $1 or $1.50, we all will be able to figure out how to acquire our transportation, whatever it is. You know, we buy freight yachts or freight planes, and we just fucking acquire and we move.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to. I would like to check out a yacht on the Mediterranean. That's what I think. I think that would be nice, don't you think? Like a nice yacht on the Mediterranean. I've heard that Malta have some nice yachts.
Just remember that you need seafaring yachts, because you can get a yacht, but it's not seafaring. In my mind, if the boat can't go across the ocean, what kind of boat is it?
That'd be a van.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I ain't investing in a van.
Well, I mean, the Mediterranean isn't too. It's not too. I mean, I don't know what you have in mind, Kool-Aid. I'm not talking about like, going through the Suez Canal or anything, mate. I'm talking about maybe taking a trip from Malta down to Cyprus or something and back.
Sure.
Something.
I mean, I think it's only like 2 or 3 million for a decent non-seafaring yacht, but like maybe like 6 or 7 for one that can actually go across the ocean.
You're going to get a pretty nice super yacht for 6 or 7 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But for me, the thing is that like if I need to come out the Panama Canal, can I get to Japan or Hawaii and then refuel and then get to Japan? Can I get from Florida to England? Now we're talking like something that can move. Like
I can just imagine you captaining a super yacht.
Satellite internet, baby. As long as I have satellite internet, I can still fucking build games and still do
man.
That's right.
You'd have all your keyboards around, all your monitors. You'd have your captain's hat, wind blowing.
It'll be something. It'll be something. Hexagon owned, hexagon bound, right? You know what I mean? That's the key.
The state of mind of Hexago.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's coming, man.
It was really nice. T-Bird is in the chat in the ideas room. Hey, T-Bird. We in June we had a Hex meetup in Nimbin, the marijuana capital of Australia. Me and Unwrecked and oh god, what's his name? I've forgotten now. Who does all the videos?
JFK.
JFK. Yeah, JFK, and we went to and T-Bird, and we went to we had a beautiful night in the Nimbin pub, playing table tennis. Having a drink. And a Stradbroke Island.
You need to use Big K's Louis Vuitton table tennis game or paddles or whatever the hell he bought.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it. That was really fun though. Yeah. What's that noise?
Probably my dryer.
Oh yeah. How many people do you live with, Kool-Aid? You got a whole house?
Nah, just one roommate. The guy, we built the virtual temple for Burning Man together, and then I moved down to LA, and he ended up moving in with me, and it's a really great time.
So you're a burner, are you?
Yeah, well, I'm more of a drum and bass raver, but I also do Burning Man stuff. 2 of my first onboards were the founders of a huge Burning Man camp, so yeah, we do the things.
Yeah, they have a really good festival here in Australia called Burning Seed.
Yeah, one of my friends that I met in Seattle, she was in Australia for a while, and she did Burning Seed she talked about that for a while.
I also did the Burning Man equivalent in Spain called Nowhere Festival. That was wild.
They're good people, man. Burners are good fucking people, right? Yeah. It's very, very, very Hexagon-like. It's just more of the party side, but very,
it's pretty
very
weird though. The Spanish one, like they wanted to replicate Burning Man, and so they basically bulldoze like this huge area. I just completely bulldozed it, and then like towards the end of the festival, it rained, and the whole place was just a mud pit. Like it was just a river. It was pretty fun though. Everyone just got naked and got muddy.
I mean, that's how you do. That's how you do.
Yeah.
Trash bag up your feet and get rid of the rest of the clothes.
I just thought it was so strange that they bulldozed this whole area just to make it be like Burning Man. It's just like,
you guys like, I can imagine you guys loving that shit. I can just imagine.
Oh no, you'll love that shit. You just gotta come to me. I promise you, I'm a good time. A hell of a lot more fun in person.
I believe it. I'm just not. I like to wear clothes, not just trash bags on my feet. You know.
Well, I'm just saying, should you have to, at least your feet are dry. Don't worry about your nibbly bits, but like your feet are dry.
Oh mate, you gotta love a good party though, a good rave.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
A good bush doof.
Yeah, no. What was I? I was 16 in '98, and I danced on stage for Crystal Method at Red Rocks in Denver. I had my mom in the damn stage with a VHS video recorder recording that shit.
You know, when I was 18 years old, I bought a one-way ticket to America, and I went and visited some relatives there, and they took me to see the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
So that was like my first time ever seeing a hippie. I was like, I had this Grateful Dead concert. It was amazing though.
Yeah, I mean, deadheads and jam bands are definitely a different substrate, but it's very similar, right? You know what I mean? Like what you do is like some's faster music, some's older music with older people, but all are usually better people than most. Usually, can't always say that for everyone. I mean, same thing about any community. There's always bad actors, always bad, eggs. But when you get into a good community with good people and good ideals, ideally it radiates what the bedrock is of everyone else.
Hey, just on that security thing that we were talking about before, when we are traveling, I'm definitely gonna not have my any hardware wallets around.
Why would you? I mean, if I was going to have a hardware wallet, I would have a dead one. If we use the method, which obviously we can't talk about, but think about storing your things encrypted somewhere. And again, this is not new teaching. But if you're going to travel, right, for a little bit, piece off the funds that you need to travel and put that into a mobile wallet of some sort, right? Don't travel with your master keys and master everything else. Right, because if you're staked, you couldn't access it anyways. You know what I mean?
It just depends what kind of travel you do as well, though. Like if you haven't got a home base,
being nomad,
right? You have to come up with solutions for that stuff.
Well, think about like Patrick and Alan, right? They've been in America traveling around for 8-9 months. If they have their seed words stored on paper in Germany, on top of that, they renounce their citizenship. Right? You know what I mean? So like they have to have their stuff stored somewhere. So you need to make practical calculations based on what you're doing.
And that's why when you get really creative with your own encryption that only you know, and maybe you tell a key of it to your relative and then put some information about how to get it somewhere else or about what it is somewhere else or something like that.
Right. Because what happens if you get hit by a bus and even if you survive, you forget your seed words or if you're Japan, right?
Yeah, well, you've got to have a few contingencies, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You should always have 3 backups of everything that you could ever do. And then have that as a contingency that has 3 more backups, right? Mm-hmm. So no matter what, if I get attacked by a great white in a fucking boating accident, my family has a way to access it. Or if I get hit by a bus and I become brain dead, I have a way to access it. So you have to think about 15 years is a long time. And this isn't even 15 years. This is generational wealth. Yeah. Once you pass on, your wallet goes to your kids, your family, your donations, whatever you want to do with it. So you can't think of it as like a turn and burn.
Last night, that's one thing Jack was talking about or maybe it was someone else, but with Hedron, you do one of these HSI stakes, and if you, with the 10x bonus in that first week, and you get to the end of your stake, and you might even just want to good account it and just keep borrowing and then paying it back, and then borrowing and then paying it back as just a way to have liquidity. Because if that stage of Hedron is worth that much money, because and there's only a certain amount of money you can actually spend, and then you kind of like can let that stake go on to whoever as a kind of, as your
contingency. Yeah, like but a tithe when you're getting married or something, like a dowry. That's the term. Like you can use it as weight later. Red Squirrel, awesome guy. Hats off to him. He has a very interesting method that he just shared with me that incorporates not only the Hedron model, but the liquid loans model on how to bridge Hedron. It's super interesting. Right now, we're looking at, with encapsulated stakes, which is a visible form of playing chess, and these liquidity models that we have from Hex, liquid loans, how to store and hold and earn from Pulse, just like how to earn and store from Hex. We have many different ways to use protocols to manipulate our yields in the future, right? And so, like, kind of planning that out now is, I don't know if you guys know Johnny Appleseed in America and spreading your apple seeds around to grow orchards. But if you remember the old Hex infographics from way back in the day, the little quirky animations, it talks that you don't eat your apples off the tree right after you plant it. You have to let it mature. And that comes also with your interoperability as staking software and stuff moves forward.
When I actually project out into how much this could be and stuff, I'm just kind of thinking, how am I going to give all this stuff away? Like, seriously, like I don't have a kind of family that I want to really pass it on to, apart from my cousins and my sister. Maybe, yeah.
Bro, you don't. I mean, it's early days.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Men can produce viable sperm well into their 70s, mate. So
it's true, but I mean, like even now, even now, I have 16 stepkids or adopted kids that I've invested in. They have stakes that on their 18th birthday, the car's paid for, the house is paid for, and all the rest of that. And like all these families that I've sponsored have no concept of what the amount of weight is going to be. Like I've got 3 of them that have 20,000 hex pre-big payday.
The really nice thing about
are they out 15 years?
Yeah.
The really nice thing. The really nice thing about being in Hex is that it gives us time to adjust. It gives us time to kind of like get used to the idea, to make plans, and to kind of, because so much of it's tied up in stakes, it's not completely liquid. Like, it's a very different experience from just suddenly having an incredible amount of money and what do you do with it? It's like we're in training or something, hey?
Well, I mean, it is a training day type mythos because, future stakes, especially on Ethereum, are going to be encapsulated. Whether it's Hedron, Firebund's model, Sam, any of them.
But even, but when you say that, Kool-Aid, but even the staker, like even the Gnosis safe, is essentially an encapsulated.
Correct.
Like,
yeah,
so you don't even have to use the other contracts or whatever. Just that one itself.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, the thing is that staker inherently of itself is not legacy. Since it's upgradable, it has the throughput built into the primer. Hedron is just a different version of it with a different legs, right? It's a different idea of the same principle. But the difference is...
It's a different market, hey?
No, 100%. Because like with staker, you're encapsulating against the whales that have stuff, whereas Hedron is more like a credit card loan against what you have.
Cash advance.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very interesting.
I guess the point what part of it that I'm talking about with Hedron, I've got to get used to saying Hedron. When I see the word Hedron, I see it and I read it as Hedron.
So do I.
To me, that's how.
Why do you say Hedron? Hey,
it's Hedron.
Right? But how would you say dodecahedron?
You'd say dodecahedron.
Really?
Yeah.
He just did.
That's it.
No, but I'd say dodecahedron, but I'd say hedron.
Yeah.
But when you actually say dodecahedron, then the name makes sense, right? But if it's reading hedron, I say both either way.
But just getting to what I was saying, to me, when I see something like hedron, I see like, okay, well, what's interesting to me is less the actual token side of it. More to me, what's interesting is the NFT convertibility of it. To me, that's the interesting part of it. That's what I find. Wow, well, that's something different. That's something that fits into, like, even the idea of being able to market it to people outside because it's an NFT, but it's a financial product NFT. Like, to me, that's what is the thing that, like, where you can go with this NFT and say, okay, people from the outside the ecosystem, check this out. Because I don't see as much value in just going after the existing fish in the pool. I want to get fish from outside the pool, and that's where I see where that can be helpful, because you can say, well,
you can already
NFT.
You can already buy Uniswap version 3 liquidity positions. You can buy those NFTs on OpenSea. And that to me is just like crazy that you can do that. Because like where would the premium be? Like what would be the difference between just putting it in yourself as opposed to buying it as an NFT? Like you can't be that much of a difference in the amount of money.
But I mean, like,
people buy them, and people buy them for often like way more than they're worth. It's kind of nuts.
It is early days. It is early days when it comes to this stuff.
I mean, we all know I've been barking about this for what, 8 months, 9 months, a year, whatever the fuck it's been, and everyone thought it was a loon bird, and now we're here. The market for augmented reality, virtual reality, will all be based on NFTs. It has nothing to do with silly little JPEGs. It has to do with interoperability and DAOs. And if you watch anything that I've ever talked about, from Crypto J on the DS show, where I was on with Frag to Riches on After Dark 4, if you watch any of my older shit, I've been screaming from the rooftops about this because I can see the future. But it helps that I play with 10,000 buttons with 10,000 other programs and then play nice, so I can understand how that bridging works, because that's what I got fixed for my day job. And so I can see how the Epic Marketplace basically took over the gaming industry that allowed Unreal to be free. I can see how, I mean, the first crypto was actually EverQuest Gold. Elder Scrolls Online was failing, and then they figured out about microtransactions. If you look at how people use their wealth, their time, and their energy, and what works and it's profitable, you can extrapolate that throughput, that traffic on the highway, and then see what people are doing. And then take that knowledge and look at what's going on in this forefront. And it's pretty damn obvious. I mean, without petrock.com, we would have never had a .com era after the bubble of the .com implosion.
Hey, Kool-Aid, talking about .coms, I've got epicworlds.com. And I've always wanted to sell it because I thought, that's a great domain. Wouldn't someone pay like an absolute ridiculous amount of money for that?
I mean, I'd say barter with Epic, but Epic's like the 10,000 pound gorilla that you can't really touch. So they'd be like,
I actually emailed them once. I never got a reply.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they own so much through the engine and the subsidiaries of the people that make the games and the marketplace. I just say hold on to that. Maybe you might know a game developer that may want to throw something up around that shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'd say hold on to it. Don't worry about shit. I buy a whole bunch of domains. I was working on stuff for the car. I mean, they went with the interior design from NASCAR because it's all in house. It was easy. But I scooped up while I was talking to Ricky. What is it? Like gasforfree.com, neverpaygas.com. I swoop up domains all the time when I'm doing random shit. And you never know when you want to use that. Like I own conmarketcrap.com. I don't know why I'm the one that actually owns that, but I actually own conmarketcrap.com.
You want to see an amazing? You want to see an amazing domain name?
Yeah.
Oh, bitch tits.
Right there.
Oh, there you
Just
go.
right there.
Tit bitch. That's a good one. That's a good one. We'll do something with that. The augmented reality strip club, Titchbits.
Well, that's where everyone goes to vote for bitch tits of the week that we do on the Hex Late Show.
Oh, really?
You go there and it takes you to a Google form and you can vote.
Sure. No, I was gonna actually point Con Market Crap to the Pulse now for Pulse.com or whatever it was as a comparison, so that way they could take all the different aggregators of coin ranking sites and just show the shit. But like, they didn't respond well. They're like, I don't understand why it doesn't. And I'm like, I have no idea. I have no time to explain it. But
it's pretty astounding how much difference there is between all of those index sites.
It's wild.
On every single kind of thing besides Ethereum and Bitcoin. Everything else is just all the numbers are all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, look at Coin Paprika. I think it's the most favorable to us right now. But I mean, ideally, if you have enough brass stones,
we're like 4 on there or something, aren't we?
Yeah, no, we're 4 on there. But I mean, you just go to Ethereum and be like, or I'm sorry, Etherscan. So look at the Block Explorer and be like, what's the top holder coins? It says it right there. And what's even crazier is you can go to Yahoo Finance. I have all the things.
Yeah.
And Yahoo Finance pulls this information from CoinMarketCap, right? And then from there, you can see the difference.
But they don't adjust it. They don't adjust it like CoinMarketCap does.
That's right.
So they get their feed from CoinMarketCap, but they don't do the extra adjustment.
Yep. It's really interesting.
You'd think that the people suing them, it's just going to be the easiest court case to win.
Yeah, we'll see what Johnny's doing with all of it. But what matters, again, and this is what's really interesting, is as a community, not just Richard Hart, we're Richard Hart children, but as a community, we do so much to shine the floodlights on bullshit and build shit on the back end, right? 600K community driven. And most of them weren't even OGs. They're new people. They're brick and mortar new people, and that's fucking dope.
Did you notice on RH's last stream that he said he's getting a list together that his lawyers are looking over to send cease and desist to people?
Yeah, that'll be fun. And you get a CD, and you get a C&D, and you get a C&D. Richard Hart Oprah.
He's starting to fight back a bit, hey? I feel like he's getting a bit feisty lately.
I think the interesting thing is he's watching us fight for him, and now he's moving the machine forward. If you ever watched the 300, right? So like we're all the ghost warriors moving forward, and now he's Xerxes moving behind. I mean, not the implacable thing, but like he shouldn't be the one to fight first because that makes it more of a security. That makes it more of an air quote inside Richard job. But like the Daytona car was funded completely without Richard even sending a tweet about it. And there's the beauty is he was busy.
In days.
5. I mean, I built a mock-up for the car in 3.5. It nearly killed me because I was doing all the rest of the shit.
Do you have that?
I mean, I do, but it's not the real mock of the car. And I can't share. I mean, I'm not trying to superimpose against Mats or Ricky.
It's pretty soon, hey. It's only in a couple of weeks or something.
I mean, I know what the new one's doing, but I mean, I just spitballed because I knew that there was a finite amount of time, and in my career, my living, I know how to do it. So I just did shit. They ended up going with the NASCAR stuff because it was looking good, and it's all in-house too. Which is good because I didn't understand about placement of numbers. I was literally just ad hocing stuff. And I mean, my renders came out all right. But what difference is it was completely community driven, right? And I didn't have access to the people. I was just running and gunning. And I saw a whole bunch of people online that were doing also good stuff. It wasn't like pure CG. It was 2D cutaways, but it was still good stuff. But that's the whole premise of a community-driven ecosystem, is because the more we build this, the more ecosystem we have, and we have more tenements of people. There was another guy, Gold.
I'm so intrigued by like what RH is going to do this year. Like it just sounds like he wants to make some really big moves, and
I think people underestimate the power of when he actually gets a physical exchange and a fiat on ramp.
Didn't he say he was going to be like he was feeling like having like employing people or something along those lines? Like a while back,
he wants to use his resources. He's got a whole heap of resources now.
His war chest is huge, Bluey.
And so it's like, how do I
600 million in?
How do
we
I
were talking
allocate
about this?
How do I deploy this in a strategic way? You know,
well,
we were talking about this on the Hex Late Show that he had that clip in one of his streams, how he was talking about, he was saying 600 million in stable coins, you know.
I mean,
what do you do,
600 million from the Pulse.
I mean, a lot of that will probably be
600 million now from Pulse X. But
a lot of that will
go ahead, Blue.
A lot of that will be bridged over to
Correct.
Be liquidity pools for Pulse.
Not only that, so remember that Pulse
USD, that's stable coins.
Well, no, but hold on one second. So
they'll bridge the ETH version over so that.
Not only that, remember the AMA MakerBot is going to grab all the liquidity. And let's assume that USDC and Circle doesn't try to do some kerfufflery, because he said it this entire time, the users could probably sue you. He's giving a warning flag. And so he has all of that. And it's V2, which means that he could take a portion of V2 and put it up and then take his war chest on one side and bridge that over. That actually makes a stablecoin, 100%, 1-to-1. Now, if Circle wants to play games, he can be like, fuck off. Your PUSDC means nothing. I'm going to make a die, and I'm going to take all that USDC on ETH and bridge that into that die or that algorithmic stablecoin, kind of like what Liquid Loans is doing or something like that. It's algorithmic stablecoins. It's basically die. Liquid Loans just has a couple more ways to play chess with it. But if you just take the fact that he has the war chest of stable on ETH, he has the bridge, which is all under the same family. And if USDC doesn't want to play nice, he'll be like, fuck you, your shit's worth nothing. And then they bridge into something else. He has the war chest.
They might even just issue their own on the like that's what they do with Natty.
They could. The difference is that Richard's playing StarCraft with finance. That means you have to be able to like play multiple different fronts at the same time and understand what you have versus what you do versus what the other team is playing. Remember, game theory that people say is mechanics and system design versus social consensus. That's the theory part. So you have to wait to see what the other person does to understand social consensus to make the next move.
I'm going to make a prediction for just prior to the fork. I think there's going to be a lot of I think when it comes to Hex USDC, I think there's going to be liquidity withdrawn because some of those liquidity providers are not going to want to have USDC at the fork time.
Yeah, but that's why we're seeing it being put in now, and that what Richard pointed out. It looks like the OA might have put in some.
Yeah, that buy wall.
I'm just saying liquidity providers, like just not.
No, I'm saying the OA might have put in that liquidity providing because he knows that people are going to be pulling out before the fork.
Yeah.
And so he wants to make sure that the price doesn't collapse as soon as they do that.
Yep.
And so he's putting in.
But it's more likely to go the other way before a fork. Before a fork.
But what Bluey's saying, 43, is that we don't know who put on that V3 21 million war fucking wall at 18 cents. We can assume whoever
at 1%,
it is.
with 1% fee as well. So you're gonna get a bad deal if you want to.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And that's the ideal of a Hexkin inside mindset. When we all move as a phalanx, we all win. The little bit of slippage doesn't matter. That's molehills. We just trample over them. So whoever that benefactor in that whale is that put that wall there, that's goddamn beautiful. That's goddamn beautiful. Because if people withdraw on the V2 version, which got better price fees, as Bluey just pointed out, that wall is our life raft that keeps everything there to hold the line. That lets other people get their USDC off so they get a favorable fork on the other side. Again, it could be Richard, could not be Richard, could be someone that is a hexagon inside. Doesn't matter
What do you think the chances are that Richard doesn't control the OA, and it's actually like he's set it up in some way where he has plausible deniability, whether it's an NDA or something, and that person is just someone, I guess he, is trustworthy, but there's some sort of, or maybe it's even I don't think it'd be a group of people, like that's too much risk in a way, but I think it could just be one other person, and they've set it up so that the OA plays like, so Richard can go and do his thing and doesn't have to spend all the time doing that, because that'd be a massive job deploying all of that capital.
Sure. So have anyone ever seen Markable Swin? This one time he popped on with me, and I can never share where I work, but we have an effects artist that twists the camera that does self loops in our meetings. And I'm looking at Mark, and then another Mark came in, and he's my student, and I'm his AD for anything that he needs. And I'm like, the motherfucker figured out how to twin loops on me. I'm like, how did you get so good so fast? But no, it was a twin. So
that'd be hilarious. Imagine this. Imagine Richard Hart has a twin. No one knows about.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And that's the OA.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And so, like, when Mark Twins popped in and both of them sat there, I'm like, I didn't think his brother was there, but this happened, and I'm thinking, like, did you just triple X one up me as your art director, and now you figured out how to loop yourself on yourself and composite it? No, it was this twin. But he will
explain why Richard Hart sometimes just looks buff when he's, sometimes he's looking buff. That's his brother.
It's that kangaroo, man. It's that kangaroo that went to jail. That's right. It's it's a deer that went to jail. That's a fucking kangaroo. All right, guys, I'll be right back.
That's Jonathan Hart.
Jonathan Hart. That's right.
Hey, just getting back to that thought that I was having about the potential for liquidity, a liquidity provider saying, hey, I don't want to be holding USDC.
Of course not.
At the fork. So they just go, well, I'm going to I'll take out my liquidity, but not only will I take out my liquidity, I'm going
to buy Hex.
I'm going to buy Hex.
Do you want to have Hex before the fork? What else would you want?
It's a good question. That is the question. Do you remember, like, when the fork was announced back in June, July, we were all like just racking our brains, like what else can we, and then we all came to the conclusions, like, there's nothing else to hold apart from Hex. That's what we came up with. That's not financial advice, by the way. You make your own decision, do your own, due diligence and all that. But that's what we came.
All these people sacking for Pulse X because they want Pulse. I think that's the dumbest tactic.
What's that?
All these people who are sacking for Pulse X because they want Pulse. It's like, fair enough, sack for Pulse X if you want Pulse X, but then just hold on to Pulse X. And if you want Pulse, buy Hex. Because you'll get it on the other side. And then if you want to swap a bit of that for Pulse, like, you probably get a much better deal.
I don't know, man. You could probably do both. If you wanted to hedge your bets, you're not sure what's going to happen, you buy a bit of Hex, you buy a bit of Pulse X, you sacrifice for a bit of Pulse X, and then whichever one works out best.
Yeah, just sit back and see what happens. Well, that's the thing. I think that's really the play. The play is sit back, grab the popcorn, and just see what happens. And if
There's
something
just
really
so many variables
something
to be
really
able
dips,
to predict.
if something really dips down, maybe you want to grab a little bit of that, swap into that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I
It's
really think
definitely not
going
worth
in,
holding ETH at the fork.
no. But
I
also,
want,
it's
that's not something on.
like going in with a predetermined plan. I think that this is what I'm going to do. I think that's the mistake. I think you need ultimate flexibility, and you're gonna have to have a really cool head, and be prepared not to do anything. And then just if an opportunity arises and you see, wow, that's really dipped super low, maybe I'll just change a bit of this into a bit of that. But other than that, like,
We've got Sammy in the chat. How you going, Sammy? Sammy had the ladies' discourse today. Had quite
I was watching that. Watch that.
A good crew on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ladies in Hex and Pulse.
Yeah, tons. There was never any in crypto. I remember never seeing any women whatsoever. It's only since Hex that there have been. And I noticed there was another stream where they started a ladies of something else. I reckon all of these other things are starting to look at some of the marketing.
But you know what the other thing is? They're all rich. They're all these ladies.
Oh, it's very
rich. They're all rich.
Oh,
it's not like they're gold.
It's not like they.
Yeah. All those ladies, like they're all. It's not like they're gold digging. You know what I mean? Like they're all rich. They're all like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that though with Hexagons. Like I know we all are, but it still feels just kind of like we're just people, just really average people.
Yeah.
Like we're characters, man. It's just jam packed with characters.
There's something.
Community.
There's something. Yeah. There's something that. It's like Hexagons have seen something. I'll give you the perfect.
I feel like I can see the future. And it's just like, oh, this is what's going to happen. And so I'll just arrange it like this. I'll just do this because of that.
You know how there's like those people who could see those 3D images and just look at it and see the picture?
Yeah, Magic 3D.
Right. I could never do that. I could never do it. But Hexagons are like that with like just the whole crypto ecosystem, and then just like seeing Richard Hart and Hex and being able to just see it. That's what it seems like to me.
I've got to say though, all of these plans that people are coming up for liquid loans, some of them scare me a bit. All of these spreadsheets with these like bubbles going over here, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do that, and then I'll do this, and I'll do that, and I'm just going, whoa.
I mean, it's just chess though, Bluey. So like, as long as you're,
but I'm also kind of like, just get Hex and stake it. You don't need all of that crap.
Yeah, but there's also just diversification, right? And so Hex is always going to be the GOAT. We know that. But you can take profit and other things that run up, right? It's just like the beauty of liquid loans inherently in of itself. It's Hexagon built. I remember when CC was on with Adam Stokes. God's time traveling, trying to think back in time when that was. But I was like, wow, this is a really great conversation. And it gives you the ability to essentially do what Hex is doing with your pulse. So it's interesting. But at the end of the day, never collateralize yourself that you could get liquidated. It's that at the end of the day. But the beauty of all of that is, even if you get liquidated, it's essentially a stop loss. So you could play many different tiers of that game. But at the end of the day, Hex is the GOAT. It doesn't matter. Nothing's going to get your APY that you will get with Hex, period.
Especially APY and price increase.
Yes, sir.
It's just
yes, sir.
Simple.
But if you have good Hex bags already, and it's not it diversified.
a bit.
Yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong. I mean, Richard said, most of all, go build shit. And now people are building shit, right? Whether it's advertising, whether that's protocols, whether it's all the rest of that. Richard's the first one that says, like, I ain't going to give you profit from the work of others. So now go build your own shit, whether it's advertising, whether it's a Daytona car, whether it is, just go build it. And Inherently, I, as a retired truck driver, have no interest in anything that does a soft left turn. But I think it's fucking fantastic what they're doing because it gets the eyeballs out there. And when you can see these things, you will eventually come back to the mothership, which is Hex, right?
So I'm not the only one who couldn't see those 3D images.
I used to
It
find it
reminds
hard
me-
as well, but then I kind of
reminds me of a movie
What you just
back in the day.
what
Do you guys
movie?
remember Mallrats?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that
yeah.
like that fat guy who could never see the image? It was like one of those 3D image, and like there was a kid or something standing, like going, "Oh, look, it's a a schooner or
Is that
something."
that American comedian guy with the beard, Kevin someone? Mallrats?
Kevin Smith.
That's Kevin Smith?
Yeah, but what they're talking about is the 3D visualizations that you look and you can see a boat or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty unimpressive once you do get it.
I mean,
like,
it's
that
all
it?
right. But I mean,
You know, what's really disappointing is 3D movies. They are just like whatever. Like it's seriously like I would rather watch a 2D image, which is a beautiful design and amazing characters and story, any day over a 3D movie. It just feels like you're watching a toy or something.
Yeah, well, it's just that we're not there yet, right?
Like it's not 3D like the world is 3D. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, well,
like this kind of weird 3D. It's like
it's Rad Racer shit from like back in Nintendo days when you had the red and blue like little glasses you put on. It kind of
and this is why I think Metaverse is going to utterly fail. You know why? We had Second City. We had
Second Life.
Second Life. What's the other one we had? Like, there's been a number of them. There's been a number of them, and they come along every 6 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this is the new thing. People are buying. It's like people are buying this. You know, this virtual
What about
space.
VR? What about VR, Bluey?
I'm so unimpressed with VR as well. Like the times I've tried it, maybe I haven't tried a good one, but the times I've tried it, it's just been like, I'm not impressed. It's like
as someone that knows how to build it and that's not a user, because again, Bluey, you're a user right now, not a developer. I can see where it's going to go. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you and I hashed about encapsulated stakes for like 6-8 months, and then you figured it out, and I came on stream like, are you not arguing with me, Bluey? What the fuck's going on now? When did you get the fucking carrot cake? And now it's all good. But I can see 16 steps ahead because I know how to build it.
You know what?
Will happen.
I was more impressed. I was more impressed with the idea of augmented reality.
Mm-hmm. It will be. There's no glasses yet. There's no tactical way to have it yet.
But the idea of augmented reality, I feel, is way more interesting than virtual reality.
Well, they're both going to twin inside each other, right? So you're going to have augmented reality, which is technically called blended reality or mixed reality. And so mixed reality is going to have it where I can enter a thing with someone else. And then I put my shaders on, and now I don't see anything else. Now we go into virtual reality. So Snow Crash, it was written long before the internet. Right, sure. Right. You know what I mean? Like, if you just read Snow Crash and then digest that,
I read it when it came out at the time in the 80s.
I'm more or less talking. I'm more or less talking to the audience here. But read Snow Crash and release. This happened before I was born, and you know, I started building computers when I was 12. I'm 40 now. So think of what this dude saw and wrote, and then fast forward that 50 years. It only goes up from here.
Only goes up. I don't know. I mean, some things don't work out. Like Google Glasses, they never took off, did they? There's plenty of technologies that don't
regulated out of. I think they sort of got regulated out of existence.
Really? I thought it was the tech was the shit.
No, I think regulation started coming down on, like, they weren't ready. Governments weren't ready for it.
Are you serious?
Also, like, look at.
So you can have drones. You can have drones killing people. But you can't have glasses which put images out in front of you.
Bro, totally. Governments are capable of keeping 2 sets of books. Totally.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
Right. No, it's true, and eventually,
obvious actually.
it's very obvious. But like at the end of the day, that is the future, right? Again, let's rope it back that I was a truck driver back in 05 through 07 or whatever the fuck it was. I know how to read paper maps very well. But how many people actually use paper maps now? They go into their Google Maps or their iPhone maps and they let Siri or fucking random Google phone lady tell you how to get from somewhere. People don't need to use paper maps anymore. But if you knew how to do it, it's like learning how to sail a boat and navigating on a North Star. That's probably a good thing to learn, but most people don't. Like learning a farmer's almanac.
I would
right?
love to know that. I would
Right?
love to know how to do that.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
And stuff. That'd be amazing.
I think everyone should, especially as we move forward with our weight and our wealth. We should know how to go backwards in time. We should know how to farm. We should know how to fly a plane. We should know how to sail a boat. We should know how to navigate. We should understand that if technology collapses around us and we already have our yield and weight, we know how to do things.
I love what you're saying here, Kool-Aid, because like I've told you my plan. I'm going to Italy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when I get there, part of my plan is I'm gonna like grow my own. I'm gonna have my own like food.
Sure. Yeah, green farm to market foods.
Restore Vespers.
and restore Vespers. Yeah, I told you about that.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing about like looking at what Mad Energy is doing. The future of green energy and green biotech will free us from so much death throes, especially since a lot of the people doing that are also hexagons. So they're going to have the weight and the yield to pull this off. But when you do that, don't neglect sponsoring third world countries and building farms and farm to market things, and then pay them in hex and allow them to have the analog, which is growing and building, along with the new tech, which is earning and yielding. And they both marry together, right? That's what like people tend to forget is we can go backwards in time and forwards in time at the same time. And it behooves you, if you have decent bags, to learn legacy ways to build, whether that's building a house, building a farm, sailing a boat, flying a plane, and knowing how to do things so that way you understand the craft to teach others. But because when I left Arcane Studios, I came up with the moniker, get paid well to do what you love to do for free. And so when you get paid well, you should know what you love to do for free, whether that's growing green food, whether that's helping cities bring up their infrastructure, whether it's any part of the mythos. You are now a general to learn or to display how do you help other people get there. And it's not just pressing a buy button. Going and feeding a country that's poor or unequipped to deal with their things, that's admirable. And as someone, I mean, a lot of the hexagons that I know, like, get their hands dirty, they want to know how to do it themselves. They wouldn't want to just throw money at something and be like, go figure it out. They want to go there and do it because they care about learning how to grow, how to yield food, how to actually do all the rest of it. I think that's huge.
Yeah, well, the reward is the process and the people you're sort of hanging out with along the way and the problems you're solving and the challenges you're meeting and overcoming and all of that, hey?
And when it comes to food, the reward is the food.
Exactly.
Like, you know, you grow your own food. You know, we grow tomatoes here every year. It's like we don't grow a lot of stuff, but we definitely grow tomatoes every year. And those tomatoes, they just taste better.
Yeah, they do.
Just taste
There's
better.
nothing like a homegrown tomato. It's a completely different taste, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, it's also that process is recession proof from anything that big corporate entities can do. Right? Once you own the land, you have the crops, you have the assets. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world does. Right? The internet could have an EMP and just get nuked. All everything gets nuked. However,
You know what? The world
You need a
was
couple of
fine.
mules.
The
You need a
world
couple
was
of mules. Otherwise, you're gonna have a tough time, like, working the land.
transporting.
well,
Just working the land.
well, I
You're
talked
gonna
about
do it by yourself. That's hard. That's hard work if you need to grow enough food for, your family or whatever.
yeah, but
That's gonna be hard
I've said
work,
it
man.
before. 43.
So you're gonna have a
The
couple of
entire
mules in Italy.
But it's not just mules, it's horses, right? Because our entire civilization as humans came with the tithe of a horse. They were beasts of burden. They were a stature of wealth that you could ride. They were given away for a dowry for marriage. And now the only thing that we deal with horses are horse powered, and that's our machines. You actually own a horse, they're a commodity that's expensive that you barely do anything in, maybe you ride it. But everyone rates things in horsepower because it was the stage that we grew as a humanity. And we will have the same epoch moving forward. We'll just have different wealth and different things. But if you know how to grow your own food, grow your own sucker, it's the same thing as learning how to grow your own wealth, right? People just think finance is too hard, or they think farming is too hard. And it's hard work, and it's more importantly work. But when you have it, right? If you actually understand it, you understand it. That's worth its weight in gold because this knowledge can be passed down.
Yeah. I've always thought it'd be nice to have a few places around the world, and in every place you have like a
Farm.
like you have solar panels. You have a few solar panels, like battery, that just recharges, and it's totally like independent of a grid. And then you can just have like your, a few servers around the world just for your personal, that back each other up, just for your own personal, like you're not relying on anyone else's.
Well,
And that takes the cloud to a different, like it takes it to a different level, like the cloud.
Not only that.
Well,
So
essentially, a cloud is basically just a server somewhere.
yeah,
It's someone else's computer. Yeah.
But what if random numbers here? Let's just say 100 original Hexicans put in their money to make dead drop green farm to market areas across the world. Not only that, made them luxury sites that other Hexicans could come visit, but also use that metric weight to help up the populace that's around them, teach them, feed them, grow them, educate them, build infrastructure, do all the rest of that. Now we're cooking with gas. Not only do we guarantee that Hexicans have good food, good lifestyles, should anything happen, the worst case
We'd also
scenario.
have really good parties.
Now we're cooking with gas. I party harder than I work, and anyone that knows me knows I work around the clock. But the thing is that
I'm guessing there's going to be a few cactus growing on that farm.
You definitely a little peyote every now and then. But like, if you think about it, it's really not that hard of an ask. Because even if you weren't the one tilling the ground, if you funded it and supervised it, other people would take the job, right? You're the same thing as an employer. But having a whole bunch of different Hexican-made farms, that does say a third of the surplus goes to the local community, whether that's education, food, infrastructure. Now everybody benefits. And what are those people going to learn? Hexican ideals, Hexican mindset. Everything comes together. It's the whole comparison of like Robin Hood, right? You come in and you help with what you have. And then everyone else learns and they grow. And they become the helpers, not the helpees. So it's all in the sand that we can do all this kind of stuff. And it's not that far off. It's very, very, very fast. Like Hex to $2, but what about Hex to $10? Wild.
Yeah.
Hey, Far Out Aliens, I think I've seen that that Earthship building school in New Mexico. Not like I've seen it on videos of it and stuff. It looks amazing what they've built out there. New Mexico is an amazing place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's going on, Far Out? This guy's a good guy.
Albuquerque.
Yep.
Albuquerque's a wacky place. Taos. Hung out in Taos.
I mean, the one thing about New Mexico and Albuquerque is literally you're in the middle of nowhere.
It's a desert, yeah.
It's barren. I mean,
You know what's really weird?
You guys know more than me. I fuck with Mac all the time. I love the fuck out of that guy. And I think the reason why you guys have more poisonous things in the desert is because your toilet water spins the wrong direction. If it spent the right direction, you wouldn't have so many evil things in the desert that can come kill you. But because it spins in the wrong direction, you guys got everything that's poisonous that can survive in the desert.
I've been really getting into spiders up here.
Never heard that one before.
Yeah.
I always got something, man.
Spiders are cool now. I was always afraid of spiders, but now I'm kind of like happy with them. Like have all these little spiders often just come to me and just start crawling all over me up here in Queensland, and it's just like whatever. But in Albuquerque, I used to I lived there for a little bit. Or hang out
Did you really? I didn't realize you were out here for a while, Bluey.
I've been all over the States, heaps, actually. I've done a few road trips through the States.
Good.
And I love Albuquerque. It's awesome. Performed there a couple of times. And but I used to go to, there's a really big yoga, but it was a hot yoga thing. It was a Bikram yoga thing. And it was just the craziest thing for me. Like it'll be like 40 something degrees Celsius outside. And then people would be going into a Bikram yoga session where it's even like hotter. It was just like, people are crazy, hey?
Dude, my gym has been feels like Bikram yoga lately. Every time I go in there and do a workout, just come out totally dripping.
It's really hot in Melbourne, hey? It's been really hot in Melbourne, hey?
It's muggy. It's
muggy.
humid.
Oh, yeah.
It's humid. It's been like, the other day was like 34 degrees and just humid, like the worst type of hot that you can get. You know, there's not, you know, when you've just got
love that hot though. I love hot.
I like dry hot.
And, oh yeah.
Do you know what hot I like? I've got to say, I'm looking forward to European summers. Because European summers, you can just lie in the sun, right? We, like in Australia, we've got the hole in the ozone layer, so we can't go outside without getting like 4th degree burns.
You know what? I've stopped using sunscreen. I haven't worn it for years, and I've been fine.
43.
Dude, it's early days, bro. It's early days.
I've been up here in Queensland for the last couple of years. Haven't been.
No, I'm saying like it's early days in your life. You know, that stuff can come up. Yeah, I think that can come back to bite you later.
Yeah, skin cancer when you get like 50, 60.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
You keep in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
so that helps a lot. That helps a lot. But I've just noticed the difference. Like if I'm in the sun in Victoria and on a hot day and I'm in the sun for like 10 minutes, my skin starts to burn. Like I can feel the burn on my, it feels uncomfortable. Whereas in Europe, I can just lie in the sun for like an hour and a half and it's just pleasant. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
There's definitely a difference that I've noticed. I've definitely noticed a difference. Yeah. So any other security tips? Getting back.
Just like seriously pay attention to what you're doing. There is no excuse to be lazy, especially with not feature bags. Like you.
Yeah.
The correlation I would say would be like, oh, you got yourself a car, now you're going to go drunk drive. Don't do that. I mean, I don't even click links, messages, anything on my phone. Because I don't touch shit anymore. Because it's kind of terrifying with the legacy bags that we have. And until I get to tear those bags out and send them out again, like Bluey was saying, or of a Jiu-43 that needs to be shouted out into multiple different wallets and situations, I'm goddamn terrified to touch anything. And I'm one of the crazy security guys because it just takes one whoopsie to get fucked. It takes one. And it's not worth it in my time. It's not worth it for me to answer unknown calls. It's not worth to click random things.
No, I love that hushed. I'm going to check that out. That sounds like a really good idea.
Well, it's just you change your physical phone number once you do hushed. And so you're like, oh, I'm changing my phone number, friends. What you're doing is you're changing your physical phone number, and nobody ever has it.
But it's also like, because I get scam calls every now and then, and I'm just like, well, where did you get my number from, And I would love to just kind of, if I start getting scam calls on a certain number, just go, right, burn that number, get a new one. And you might even be able to see where they're coming from as well.
Sure.
Like how they're getting your stuff.
Well, that's the whole thing about the future of interoperability, NFTs, DAOs, all that Oracle nonsense shit I bark about. It's not even going to go through your phone number anymore. It's all going to come from your wallet address, because your wallet address will eventually 2FA into your phone number. It's just market call of what the future is. But anything that your wallet does is on the blockchain. So anything that you buy is on the blockchain. Anything you stake is on the blockchain. Everything will be there. And then, think about like the was it Nanit? The software that Lawrence Silver the Antidote uses, $1,400 a month. But what it does is it does a cross analyze of everything and maps it together, both with function, form, software, name, all of it. That's now.
So hang on, let's just roll that back a bit. What are you talking about there?
Hold on, I've got it in my notes somewhere. It's
Is it software or?
Yeah, it's Nancent, something like that. But yeah, it's $1,400 a month, and it does all the cross-chain analysis that you want, and it digs deep, deep, deep. So that's how we identified Three Arrows Capital. What was that?
But that would turn out to be bogus. That's not them at all.
No. Three Arrows Capital is definitely.
I've never seen any evidence. That's been for ages. That's been like.
I guarantee you it's there, Bluey. I guarantee you. I've seen the shit.
So how come they haven't come out and said they've got Hex? Why wouldn't they advertise? They advertise everything else they've got on their website. No, I don't believe it. I'd love to see evidence. But that Sun Tzu as well, or whatever his name is, he never never says anything on Twitter. And Hexicon's like pestered him for quite a bit. I even just straight out asked him.
But like would Grayscale,
and you know what? I've seen
Hex,
Richard Hart troll him as well. I've seen Richard Hart troll him as well.
I guarantee you I've seen the things. I can't give too much stuff away, not on stream. It's something we can talk about after. But I guarantee you when you pay $1,400 a month for a piece of software, it works. And if people don't pay that, it's like people bitching about traffic but not paying the premium to get in the express lane. This is express lane shit for chain analysis. I guarantee
it makes no sense to me that they would be heavily invested in Hex.
$1,400 a month.
They advertise everything else they're into, but not Hex. What are they, idiots? They never talk about it on their podcasts or anything like that?
That's their own priority, right? You're just looking at wallet signing. This is what I'm talking about. Your mouthpiece matters nothing. Your wallet matters everything. That's the future, sir. Because that's how you handle marketing, advertising, all the rest of it is with your wallet.
But if you're heavily invested into something, why wouldn't you? What was possible?
That's their own prerogative, right? They can do what they want, but you can map their wallet, and you
of course they can do what they want. It just doesn't.
But you can see how deep it goes and where it eventually got signed, and you can't hide that. The thing is that they're also a VC, so they have multiple partners. One of the partners one of them does it. Maybe the others don't, so they can't outpiece it. But there's a signed fucking shit on that. However you want to like.
How much do they have?
That's a silver question. I don't know it off the top of my head. I just know it. I just know he has the information.
And they're staked?
I again don't know. I have to look. But that was a long time ago. We're going back.
Yeah, I thought it was all kind of like it was just one of those rumors, and then no one ever really presented much good evidence.
No. I'm very good friends with Lawrence. Very, very good friends with Lawrence. Yeah, I guarantee you it's real. I pay a shit ton for my CG software. If I made something in CG, like the silly little car that I helped them make, I can clearly do that, right? But I pay the software and I have the utility. I pay $400 a year for an upreser, like max level image I took a 500 by 500 pixel image and turned that into a fucking 4K image and made it smoother. But I pay that.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Mango Junkie? What's not making sense, mate? Can you elaborate?
Oh, I think he's talking about who is Three Arrows Capital. So he made right. So Mango
Three Arrows Capital. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
Look, ages ago, like over a year ago, Silver made a video where he.
It was the God Whale. It was right when the God Whale sacked.
Yeah, and he said these people who are big whales, they are Three Arrows Capital, and he didn't really. What I at the time I'd never. I was like, you didn't. It could maybe it was kind of stuff that implied stuff, like because there was 3 addresses or blah blah blah, and it's like there was stuff where it hinted towards them, but it never. I never thought it was very good actual evidence. And
he just wasn't showing it online, but I've seen it.
And then, but since then, like the Hexagons all went after the Sun Tzu dude or whatever. Like he's been on podcasts. He's never once talking about Hex. And when he talks about crypto, it sounds like he doesn't know Hex or understand it. He's got all these other kind of crapola crypto shit that he sort of does. And
sure.
And then one time I literally just out and out asked him on Twitter and there was no response. And just recently I saw Richard Hart actually troll him. If you go back through Richard Hart's tweets just recently, I'm pretty sure there's a troll to that 3 Arrows guy. And because, Richard's just kind of trying to get any kind of attention from anyone who's got more followers than him at the moment, And
it's 3 Arrows Capital. 3 Arrows.
I'll find the tweet.
Yeah, there you go. No, again, Bluey, I have no idea because
I obviously haven't done any of that kind of chain analysis.
I guarantee you the one thing I can tell you about Lawrence is that the software he pays for is exceptionally expensive and it's exceptionally deep. It's again,
geez, $1,400 a month is steep, though.
That's crazy.
It might be good. That is steep.
Yeah, but that's why, like when he did his Patreon to get people to pay for his whale videos, he was just trying to get some funds back in the coffer, just to subsidize his tools, not just his time. Remember, that's the one thing when I do work for people, it's not just the knowledge I have or the tools that I have, it's my time. My time is not replaceable because not only do you have the knowledge I have on CG, film layouts, storytelling, I had to sacrifice my entire life to get this, but it's the tools, the utility, and more importantly, the time. The time.
What's the name? What's the name of that software?
I think it's Nansent AI.
Man, Richard Hart has been going.
I wrote it down and I sloppy. NANCEI. I'd have to ask Lawrence, but it's like Nansent or Nan something AI.
Man, Richard Hart has been going hard on Twitter.
Oh, dude, that crypto banter shit was fucking hysterical.
Okay, so Sun Tzu said, I'm only going to make one prediction for 2022, and it's that at least 10 nation states will make BTC legal tender.
No, I guarantee you that will happen too.
Richard replied, I predict you'll make more predictions. Doesn't really mean anything.
Well, the thing is that right now, Will.
Who did the original tweet? Sorry, Kool-Aid. Who did that original tweet?
Oh, it's Suzu. Zusu. ZHUSU.
Oh, okay.
Is that sorry, Kool-Aid. Maybe I've got them mixed up or something. He's got nearly 500,000 followers. Or maybe I've got the wrong person.
I stay off of Twitter, to be honest. I pop on there every now and then, but I can't stand
it. Man, Richard has been going. You know what we should do? We should all go to Richard's Twitter page and just like and retweet and just boost all his stuff because he is working. He's going hard on the Twitters.
Yeah, well, he's just breaking through the barriers.
Yeah,
it's just only a matter of time. Right, same thing with
But I'm just thinking, his stuff comes up in my feed, but nowhere near what he's actually been doing here. I'm just looking through his Twitter feed now, and it's like, well, he's been way busier than I.
I haven't seen Richard calls on fucking Telegram, and then when he has a tweet, I click that. That's about my crypto Twitter engagement.
Well, if you go to his replies, he's been replying to heaps of people who are bigger than him. He's been like trying to get a bit of clout.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, it's
so hard to punch through. It is so hard. You know, I've recently been thinking that getting off Twitter.
I mean, I literally only use it to interact with certain people in certain times. I can't stand the phone app. I can't stand taking my time on it.
I don't spend a lot of time on it now. I mean, I like hanging out with the hexagons on Twitter though. That's fun.
I mean, I did a couple spaces with some people, and you know, they kind of freaked out that I was there and wanted to have me back. And it's just you have to use your phone, and I prefer to use a computer, a headset, not bother my roommate, all the rest of that. And to get on spaces, you have to use your phone, and then immediately disconnect your headbuds, so you have to have it on speakerphone. And I'm just like.
Yeah.
It's
a
not.
pain in shitty software.
It's a shitty interface.
Yeah.
And
then why can't you have it on your laptop? Like it's like I've got to have it on my phone. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Not only have it on your phone.
I can listen.
The guy who created Twitter is a Bitcoiner, so sort of explains the shitty software.
I mean, I think it was taken over by intelligence services
long time ago. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the throughput.
More concerned with censoring people than actually providing a good product.
Yep. But at the end of the day, the problem that I have with it is it's annoying to use on a phone. It's really annoying to try to use privately that has headbuds, use a mic, or anything.
Yeah.
If I was trying to like annoy people and use it in public spaces, yeah, I suppose you could. But it's not really what I do, right?
Honestly, your Twitter, you're such a big company. Like, how hard can it be to do something that Telegram seems to do fine?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, we need to develop our own everything. I think what it was like called ONG, was a Facebook. I see Bryce's in the chat. It was crypto Facebook in 2017. I forget what it was. It just didn't get traction. But a lot of things in fledgling levels don't get traction. It's when everyone else in the masses come in that the people that invested and did it earlier get the rewards, right? Same thing with staking early. Remember, Hex was a scam. Long time when we started all the rest of the shit. There we go, Nansen.
7-day trial for $9.
Yeah, but I don't know what the fucking premium models is.
The premium model is expensive. Alpha.
Jesus Christ.
$2,500 US a month.
Oh, it's quarterly.
Yeah, a month.
Yeah, but here's
quarterly is every 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
so $2,500 is a month.
Sorry, 2.5. Right. Yeah. Right.
Again, I said $1,400 a month. No, but Bluey, this is the thing that you understand. Like, I'm trained in thousands of pieces of software, and those thousands of pieces of software, each one is $400, $1,000, $2,000 a month.
Yeah, right.
And that's why I can do what I do, is because I have access to those tools. Now, granted, I'm not saying I pay for all of it, but like
models.
But I mean, like just Maya and Max, which is like the cornerstones, or Adobe, or all the rest of that.
Do you know
go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, do you know what I always thought? Sorry to cut you off. I always thought Silver, you know, like, there are people who want, I think there are people out there who want their situation to be analyzed. And I always thought that was a potential market for someone like Silver who could do something like that, rather than like giving like the information, just like putting it out there. I can, provide this service, whether it be to accountants or whether it be to like whoever. I always thought that was like a real target market that someone with his skill set could attack.
But I'm not sure he wants to put all that time in. Like, but most people don't realize this back then. He was paying an enormous amount of money, and he was giving that alpha for free. And then the community kind of did some dumb shit because they didn't realize. I mean, let me wrap it a different way. I got bigabooed by someone in the community, and I stopped making fucking backgrounds because I'm not going to put 400 hours into building something after I already worked 60 hours a week. All that doesn't matter. What it did, it put a bad taste in my mouth, and I wasn't going to do it. I come in and I help alpha for friends, as you know. I mean, I'll pop into your guys' stream. I teach security shit. And like the call to action came up with the Daytona car, and I slept 2.5 hours every night for 5 days straight to try to help them. My idea didn't get chosen. It was still decent, but I was still backup in case something fell through the roof. I was there as support, right? I'm like a limit order, just sitting there ready to go. And
I think it's really important that if you put energy into things like for the community, that you do it out of a heart out of abundance, and that that you're overflowing, that you can do it and you can provide it. Because if you do it and you have a bit of resentment because you're not getting something back.
No, but what he did is he did a premium Patreon model.
Yeah, I actually did his Patreon, and I joined, and then I realized I joined the day before the month ticked over. So first of all, I was charged the whole month for one day, and then I ended up being charged.
But that's like later. Netflix Patreon.
That was my own fault. fault. Okay, but then I was there for another month. But in that time, like, I joined because I thought he was going to make special videos for us, and then there's only one video he made in that whole time, and he said, "Hey, do you guys, what do you think? Should I just put this out as a public thing?" And so I was like, "Yeah, of course, I'd like to put it out as public. I don't mind paying." But then I just didn't really feel like I was getting anything for his service.
So
I didn't say anything bad or anything. I stopped. It was just like, I'm not really getting anything out of this. I'm just going to stop.
So I mean, maybe or may not you got, but like I know the guy personally, like very, very personally. And he got COVID, and it was right when the pulse chain was being theorized, and his effect from COVID, or the thing, was his eyes like watered out. He couldn't see. But like, I was on the phone with him, and he was crunching Excel spreadsheets, and it was hard for him to even like open his eyes. And he's just telling me like, "Dude, I can't even read numbers. This is so painful." I'm like, "All right, dude, I'm on the phone with you. Like, what do we got to do? I'll try to help you read." And like, he actually
it's got to stop. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, but there was a limited window, Bluey, that he could fucking make this shit. So like, he was crunching shit. Silver's a good dude. He is a badass.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a bad dude.
No, but like he served in the trenches and no one got to see it. My point, irregardless of Silver, me with game dev, is a lot of people work behind the scenes, and maybe the community doesn't understand the complexity or the utility of what they do. But when you do understand that, it becomes very, very, very valuable. Right? You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to spend that kind of money to have that cross-chain analysis software to be like in my back pocket, just like I would with my Maya software. But like, you wouldn't pay $400 or $500 a month for Maya and not have the pedigree to use it.
But right? That's why it's so important to do it out of love and abundance, so that you're not doing it in the expectation of, and then when you don't, of some sort of feedback or whatever you're trying to get. And then if you don't get that, you kind of feel resentful that you put all this work in and it hasn't been appreciated.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the reason why I haven't made a Hex background in a while, is I put 500 hours into something and it got slapped me in the face.
And so you shouldn't do it if you don't feel like, it's...
I mean, just a commonality payment should be adequate, right? You know what I mean? I'm not charging premium, but like, yeah, it's just interesting as we move forward that if you don't understand what people have with their pedigree of knowledge and information, maybe take a step back and try to do the research yourself and then understand what it is to actually do that. And you'll have a little bit more appreciation. That's all I'm saying. So if we wrote back to the 3 Arrow shit, with Nansen, there is signed transactions that push it back to them. I don't know which person. I don't know which dude. That's not my job to keep track of. But I know they do exist. Just kind of
have to get my hands on some of that. I'm gonna have to get my hands on that software.
It's dope, man. It's something that I want to do in the future, but like right now, I'm still waylaid to the fiat job, and I pay, $1,200 to $1,400 a month in student loan debt. So I'm not doing that twice.
For you, OG, it'd be worth just getting the 9-day trial and just going to town on your own stuff, hey?
Yeah, but the 9-day trial probably does not unlock premium stuff. It just gives you a small window, like a dirty piece of glass.
Can you imagine if they don't? They should open premium stuff just to let you see like what it can do.
Oh, I
Otherwise,
one day. Like what kind of things can that software do that's just so amazing?
I mean, well, the whole thing, Bluey, is essentially at the end of the day with, let's just say, a government entity that starts with 3 letters that maybe or may not manage payments and taxes would be using that for everything. So giving it away cheap would not be okay, because that knowledge will be the crux of all advertising. I said it earlier many times, like throughout the last year, just like wrapped NFTs, augmented reality, and wrapping data to have market models for advertising is the future.
I actually once asked Richard on a live stream. One of my questions was, could you tell us what tools you use to analyze blockchains and stuff? And he said, nah.
No, because why would you?
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. It's like, unless you, if you haven't listened to Silver before, he said it before, but if you don't know, then you don't know, and that's good and fine. I prefer,
in the end, I'm just kind of like, now I'm just not interested in what all these whales are doing. I'm like, dude, play your games, whatever. Like, it's long term. This is what's happening with X. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, but I mean, like long tail, the whales. All right, so let's just say it's not Richard that put that buy wall up, right? It's just a person or a thing. Eventually, the whales that dump will be out of powder to do it, and then it just ratchets quicker. All you have to do is set the stage that they can empty their bags.
There's just so many of them, though. There's just like
there's really not, Bluey. There's really not. There's only, compared to a year ago. Compared to a year ago,
but there's tons of people. There's like I mean, even if it's 100 people, it's just like it's too complex to try to kind of game out.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I do for a living, is do very, very complex analogies with multiple fucking vectors. But like, dude, you used to be able to dump so many millions, and now people are barely doing that. It's the powder is going away.
Yeah, exactly. So we know the actual game. The game is that number goes up over time.
Oh, like, the correlation of supply is going away, and each time these silly whales,
therefore number goes up. Yeah.
If the silly whales are putting limit orders to be bought out easily instead of being greedily and not market dumping to push price down, they would have more. But because they don't pay attention, they're stupid. They're idiot whales. They literally have no concept how to play the game. They're playing.
Do you think that with HSI stakes that you can NFT, tokenize and sell? Do you reckon a lot of that money will be going into that kind of stuff, and then those whales can just go play on that bond market kind of thing?
They could do that, but then there's a real question about what happens if you bridge Hadron from one chain to the other. It's interesting. Couldn't tell you, but
you'd be able to do it. We would, like I heard Alex talking about it.
I mean, no.
You won't be able to access.
Hang on, what's interesting about that? I'm not clear what's interesting.
But you wouldn't be able to access those stakes or decompile the NFT or whatever the terminology is. You would have to take it back to the original.
Hang on. What are you talking about?
Bridging it to another network.
You mean like, so it has a token representation on another network? Yeah, okay, you could do that.
But you just wouldn't be able to actually unwrap it and take.
No, you have to take it back to be able to.
You'd have to take it back to the original.
Yeah,
but you could trade it on a cheaper
or to mint
network.
the hedron from it. But I thought you said what happens if you bridge the hedron over? So you're not talking about hedron the token. You're talking about the HSI stake.
Correct. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, like, let's just say we walk back to where we were talking about, like, farm to market foods. What if you grew a particular asset and then you sold it to a different country? All the rest of that's essentially the bridge. Well,
you know what
it's
USG
really complex.
you know what USG Vet wants to work on. He wants to work out a way to fractionalize those HSI states.
No, it'll happen. All of fractionalized tokenization in a multi-chain world is happening right now. It's going to be a vastly different ecosystem in 15 years because Bitcoin isn't even 15 years old. It's about like 13, some shit, 12, 13.
Have you played around with the secret network at all?
No, I haven't. I'm busy doing the game dev shit. When I tie my game dev hat up, I come and hang out with you guys. That's pretty much what happens. You know what I mean? So, like, this is basically my relaxation vacation time.
So do you basically work on the graphics of the games, or do you work on the actual game rules?
Yeah, I do a lot of things. I compose the shots. That's my pedigree. But I do everything from level design to system design to everything. But remember, every facet is a different job, which is actually a different career, which is different tiers from associate, junior, mid, senior, principal, right? So I have many different things that I'm lead and principal in across the board. It's a lot.
How many people would work on like a game? Like thousands or hundreds or?
Let's just say 150 in-house and then multiple hundreds outsourced. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And you're lucky if you have 4 or 5 on the team. So like on Prey, I was one of 4 architects. So a quarter of the game is mine. Layout, implementation, propping, lighting. Quarter of the game, mine. So it's a lot. So whenever I come on, it's basically R&R for me, but I'm probably still up from a fucking 18-hour day.
When is this all over, Crypto Kool-Aid? Like, when is this nonsense? When's this nonsense like lifestyle that you're currently living going to be over? And when are you going to be able to sit back and enjoy yourself, lie back and just relax, mate?
Sounds like he's enjoying himself.
I mean, I'm all right, but like the bigger things is like I'm behind the scenes helping DS. I'm behind the scenes helping people. I will build augmented reality for Hexkins. I know how to do it. I know how to get the money. I know how to game theory it. Like when anyone uses game theory, the word, it just boggles my mind and kind of burns me because they don't know the 3 food groups to make it a triangle to actually make game theory what it is. But I do. So it's kind of like the same impediment that anyone that's air quote retired in the Hexagon community, they work harder. I'm okay with that because we work harder for us. I don't play games, so I don't have fucking time. If I'm actually going to like do something outside of my window of working, I'm going to go out in the world and I'm going to dance, right? I'm a competitive dancer. I've been stage dancing for 25 years. But like the last thing I do is play a video game.
Hang on. You're a competitive dancer?
Yeah,
what's the competition?
I've been stage dancing for 25 years. Again, like I was saying earlier, I danced on stage.
What's stage dancing, apart from dancing on a stage? What kind of dancing is it?
Popping, locking, break dancing. I spin fire.
And there's competitions for that?
Yeah. I don't compete anymore, but I mean, it's a way to paraphrase what it is.
Hey, Brizology just wants to say thank you, Kool-Aid.
Dude, I'm a big dancer, man. We're gonna go dancing when I'm in the States.
So one thing I like is so I'm a big drum and bass fan. Funny enough, Richard is too. But I teach swing dancing to drum and bass and Lindy Hop is specifically, and beautiful. I call it Lindy and B. You can do the Charleston, you can do all the rest of it, but the pacing fucking works. And social dancing is vastly interesting, and not many people do it anymore. But it's fun.
Yeah,
as fuck.
I do. I swing.
Yeah,
I salsa.
yeah. Fucking social's fun as fuck.
Yeah, totally. It's fun swing dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not good at it, but
I'm a pretty good lead. Like I said, I've been dancing 25 years. It's actually what I've done long before I did crypto, long before I did tech. Well, actually, I was techie first, but it's definitely in my wheelhouse on what I do.
swing dancing, beautiful.
It's fun.
Mm.
Yeah, Finbear says
people here saying they do the Melbourne shuffle, the tango.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Melbourne
I
shuffle.
do the horizontal tango.
Oh, OG.
It's all in the hips, and it's all in the hips.
Hey, I got 3 kids, so I got proof I've done it at least 3 times.
At least 3 times. Be right back.
Man.
He's a stripper.
Oh, man. I can't wait till we get a bit of freedom. I'm ready. I'm hanging out to go to Europe, man. I'm hanging out to go to Europe. I hope they've got better rules by the time I get there, but I'm hanging out. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a bit of travel.
Yeah, man. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit to see in a very small space.
I feel like it's adventure time coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Spread the
yeah, Finbear, I'm coming, dude. I'm coming. I'll be there. Very latest, I'll be there next year, but probably late this year.
I'll be somewhere this year. I'll be a few places this year.
Bluey, you're the most eligible bachelor in Hex, mate.
Yeah.
In Hex. I feel like you're gonna have yourself a good time, buddy.
I'm getting ready to spread my wings. I'm gonna have fun hanging out with Hexicans for sure.
Is that what you're calling it? Spreading your wings? You'll be spreading something. Spreading or sewing, one of those things.
Spreading and sewing, doing it all.
Are you still doing your cold therapy?
Still been doing the Wim Hof method, Wim Hof breathing every morning, and been doing the cold showers. Yeah, I'm kind of just, it's automatic now. Just that's the first thing I do now when I get up. Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, I've got to get back into the cold stuff. I've been a pussy, I have to say.
I mean, I have been always in really pretty hot places for doing it though. You know, I haven't been in a cold place.
Yeah. So but it's sort of warm. It's been hot enough that I could have been doing it. Like what I have been doing is I've been like working out a lot. I've been running a lot. Like I've been running like 2-3 times a week and doing 7 to 10 Ks each time I run. So like doing good distances and not like running fast or anything, just running I'm an old fucking man, so I can't run fast, and all my shit hurts, man. All of my stuff hurts.
I've noticed myself slowing down as well, but it's more like because I'm just more careful. Yeah. Like that's why I'm slower, I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, things break easier as well, you know. So, but like I've been pushing it hard in the gym though, really hard. Yeah, very, very hard. I'm not trying to put on weight. I told the guy I'm not trying to put on bulk because I've just got that. I'm just naturally thick. you know, just my
Yeah.
genetics. I touch weights and I start putting on muscle. So I've got to be really careful because I don't want to be, I don't want to put on weight muscle wise. I just want to lose more fat. So I've got to work out. I'm doing like, do you know what's awesome that I've been doing? You know, the battle ropes. Have you ever done them?
No.
Dude, battle
I've
ropes
seen them where you just
kick
do a
your
wave.
ass
Yeah, I bet they
so
do.
bad. They
See, I've been
kick your
doing-
ass.
I've been doing the opposite. I've been doing like rolfing, structural integration, where this woman massages my fascia, and then I do gyrotonics. So it's all this movement stuff, but it's about doing everything with the least effort possible.
Yeah.
So you're trying to like relax and this like become the most efficient movement that you can. So it's really just like placing the bones in the right place, softening all the joints, and just getting low effort, like just having as little effort to do things as possible. And it's amazing how it can change your body and, you know, like affect things like my handstands all of a sudden. I did it like a hand to hand the other week. Like I've been.
What's a hand to hand?
Like I stand there and this guy's got his feet in my back. I go backwards over, our hands connect, and I go into a handstand where we're just got it through our hand connection.
It's
And
kind of like acro yoga is a different term for
the first time I pinned it.
I just want to shout out. I just want to give a big shout out to Jay Everything, who's in the chat. Yeah, massive shout out, man. Love the track.
Oh yeah, is that him? Is it? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That track. Yeah.
TYRH.
Yeah, man. We've got to do a music video for that.
Thank you,
RH. That is required. That needs a music video.
You guys go look up TYRH J Everything on YouTube, and yeah, check out that track. It's fire. It's fucking fire. Sorry, dude, I interrupted you, but I just had to shout out.
Yeah. What's this?
You were saying your handstands. You're doing your handstands.
Yeah, I pinned it hand to hand. Like I pinned it. Like I was there for ages. My brain was going, you can't do this, and I was just pinning it. And I know that it's got to do with all this other gyrotonic stuff and like all the structural integration stuff, because I'm just getting more movement in places where I haven't had movement, and more kind of like awareness around hips and things like that, and having that deep fold, so that I can kind of just putting the bones in the right place. It's just stacking the bones, and then it's just effortless. Such a great feeling.
Yeah. Yep. It's man, back in the day when I used to do jiu-jitsu, I used to do so much stuff that I can't even like try and do now. I was just so much more flexible.
You'd be surprised though, man. It'd come back pretty quickly. If you did it for years and you just haven't done it for a few years, it comes.
Some of those things is just, it's a young man's.
Nah, but all the pathways would be there. You wouldn't be as fast. You'd be slower.
Oh, no. I'm not saying I don't know how to. I can still, like, I've got all the muscle memory. I know. I've got all I have to do is lie down on my back on the carpet, and I already know. Like, I can already
start
feel
choking
myself.
Someone out.
No, I can just feel my core, like how you know, all the movement side of things, and but getting old, man, just your body, just recovery. It's not even, you can still do stuff. It's just, you can only do it once or twice a week, because it's going to take you like 4 or 5 days to recover from it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
You're probably pushing too hard then when you do it. You should just slowly build it up then.
Or have you done jiu-jitsu? There ain't no like half-assing, like when you roll with someone in jiu-jitsu, you're going.
No, but it's how long you do it for and stuff like that. Like, if you're achy the next day, it means you've pushed yourself too much. You just need to build it up slowly, but more slowly.
So like before Christmas, so I'm a stage dancer, right? So I was dancing on stage, and there was some water there. And I wear 2 different sets of knee braces. I wear compression knee braces, and then I wear knee braces. And I did this trick where I drop to my knees and pop back up. And with the water on the floor, it split too hard. And man, I could barely walk for fucking 4 weeks.
Oh, no.
And it's just like,
What did you pull? You pull something or what?
Yeah,
Did you pull your abductor?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
the
it was
abductor.
bad. It was bad. It was bad. I mean, like, I'm still not dancing now because I got a burn I'm going to go to in Miami. So I'm saving myself because even though I'm ish better, it's still fucking crucibled me, and I can't bounce back like I used to in my fucking 20s and my 30s. You know, I'm 40 now, and yeah, I fucking destroy that shit. But one whoopsie, like a whole bunch of water on the ground that I didn't see, can literally kneecap you, no pun intended. So when, like what 43 was saying, is when you're, playing with jiu-jitsu, it's real time. It just takes one accidental whoopsie to knock you on your ass.
It's pretty stressful, actually, jiu-jitsu, isn't it? Like, a lot of tension there, hey?
Well, you're playing with people, right? You know,
You're
what
never
I mean?
100%. You're never 100% when you're properly training jiu-jitsu. You are never 100% because if you're waiting to be 100%, you'll never roll.
Mm-hmm.
You've always got some shit. Like
some niggle,
when I was training, dude, I had like fingers taped here. I had like all sorts of like shit taped, my knee taped. Like, dude, it's just never ending. Otherwise, you just don't roll.
Yeah,
it's like you either don't roll or.
Well, you're also afraid of it. And when you're afraid of actually doing your movements, you're not fluid. You have to be fluid and actually compose it. Do we want to send Finbear a link to get in?
Yeah. I'm just sending him one right now.
Very good. Yeah, because I need to hop off soon because I'm a little bit exhausted as fuck.
But, yeah, we're gonna wind up soon because we've been going for over 2 hours. But like, Finbear, come on for a few minutes, mate, and we'll.
Yeah, Finbear. If you haven't followed him on his new channel, he's great. He's absolutely
got a channel.
Great. Yeah,
he's got a channel.
Yeah,
is he doing lives or something?
Yeah, no, he's doing good stuff. Yeah, well, all of us are, right? You know what I mean?
How come I didn't know this? How come I didn't know that, Finbear?
Everyone gets in where they fit in, right? And if you're,
I'd be watching. If I knew, I'd be watching Finbear.
Yeah, no,
sure.
Finbear's a dope dude. Finbear's a dope dude.
What's he got?
Just a new YouTube channel, and yeah, he's a good guy. I forget which one. It was super late. I was working around the clock as I usually do, and tried to pop in, help him out where I can. But Tabla Roos.
It's in Finnish.
It's mainly in Finnish.
That's awesome. I'd still listen to it. What does Finnish sound like? I don't really know. Yo. Yo. I know this one girl from. No, is she Finnish? No, she's.
Blowy, I swear to God. That's why I heckle Mac that he rides wallabies.
I like it. I like how you have that one sound for Finnish. just keep repeating that one.
Girl. I knew this girl, and that's what she'd do. She'd go, yo. Yo.
Oh, man. Where's Finbear? Finbear's like he's
Finbear, where are
trying
you?
to turn on his computer, plugging in his headphones, getting everything set up, telling the kids, "Shh, I'm going live."
Ew. Boy, I swear to God.
He's rugged us. Oh, he's on his way.
He'll come.
On his way.
He'll come. Yeah, there he is. He's on his way. Ew. There we go.
Yo. That was so good, man. Just a second. I'll mute my phone. Oh my god, that's exactly how you say it. I mean, that's like that's just like yeah, something like that. Just a second. Where
Hey.
can I?
Hey,
Hey, motherfuckers, how's it going?
what's up, my good friend? How's your channel going?
Freaking awesome! I got like 120 subs or something.
Good. Drop your link in the channel. Well, let's get everyone to come follow.
Well, and you're doing it in Finnish, are you?
I had Jay over from Crypto Junkies, and we did one in English, just like for you guys. But I had no just a second.
Yeah, no, that's a stream that I popped into. I was trying to hop on with you, but I was also in the middle of slaying pixels, so I did as much as I could.
Yeah, and I didn't see.
Oh no, you're good, sir. You're good, sir. I was just there to support. But you're
if you guys can, I put the link in the private chat if you.
I've got a word.
Yeah, that's my channel's name.
Yeah, hold on. Let me figure out the actual link.
Yeah, 120 people is like we're closing in on 1% of the population. Well, we're like 5 million people. I just spoke with my mate who has an onboardee, like a Mexican who's been in for like a year and a half maybe. I helped onboard him, and he's like, yeah, that's the one. And he's been telling his friends that, dudes, I'm gonna be stinking rich. Like that's my plan. He broke up with his girlfriend like a year and a half ago, and his mates are like, okay, so how rich are you gonna be? So how much is like enough? And the guy's like, $600 million. And everybody's like, what the fuck? Nothing is enough for you? And he's like, meh. I was thinking like 600 million is nice. I'll go with that because
it's a good number.
If you're dreaming to become a millionaire, the cost is the same if you dream about 600 million than what it is if you dream about 1 million.
Yeah, but don't forget
having 600 million has to be so much more fun.
Yeah, but also don't forget
600 times more fun.
Yeah, like easy math. Hey, Kool-Aid. I was driving when you were talking about your NFT magic, and I almost like swerved off the road because I had an idea. Like imagine like if my wallet knows me and knows where I am and where I'm gonna go, like on holiday, for instance, or something. Could my wallet forward my mail, for instance, into where I'm going to be without me having to do the shit? Because if I use my wallet to buy my trip to a foreign country, my wallet could be like smart enough to like forward all my shit over there.
So you can do that.
Alina, hello.
Yo, Alina.
It actually gets much nastier than that, and I'm going to talk about the nasty side real quick because I posted it in the Cutthroats room. So there's a new NFT out that can basically, if you receive it and you look at it, it tells what your IP is, and then when that it derives back to home base. It's the
and he's rugged.
Kool-Aid just looked at that.
reverse. You have to understand. Yeah, because you have it in your wallet, it will, by accessing your wallet, give your IP address to whoever made it. So essentially, someone could send you this, and it lives there. And if you don't understand what's going on, and you don't burn it.
Isn't this called email?
Yeah, but it's email that knows where your IP address is, and that's we'll call it an opener.
A security threat.
It's a very big one. It's a bed bug that someone can send you, and yeah, it's very important to understand that it's very.
What's the way around it? What's your way around it? Are we VPNing? Like, is that going to make a difference?
No, it's not going to make a difference at all. Because at that point, when you realize you have this bed bug, you just need to get it out. But who knows? Like, Hexagon sent fucking Hex to Mark Cuban, and it's in their wallet.
That's money well spent.
Yeah, no, it is. But I'm just saying, like, just realizing that these things are existing makes you a smarter Hexagon. Because if you don't realize that they're doing this, they're probably on their way to try to get you, right? And that's why I've never once shared my daddy wallet to, the legacy one, into anything. And it's just like using Hushed. You want to compartmentalize your things. So even if someone puts something there, it's a slush wallet. But the fact that there are NFTs now that can appropriate and understand where your IP is and send that to groups that could maliciously use it, not even knowing that those things exist, that sets you up for failure. Like that's kind of scary. So realize those things exist and realize that we are only 2 years old. ETH is only 6 years old. Bitcoin is 11 or 10 years old. In 15 years from now, you need to be well protected and know what the fuck is going on. And so, like, the fact that there are now NFTs that track IPs, they're doing exactly what I said that's going to happen, but it's very, very, very maliciously, right? And so understanding your understanding of security will behoove you very, very, very much. But I posted the fact that all that in the Cutthroats chat, and I'm just like, shit. Because once they have your IP, they've got a starting point. It's the same thing as...
so they can start doing spoofing type things once they've got your IP address. Yep. They can start pretending that they're you. Things like that.
Yep. And I don't play with modern hacking stuff. Like, I kind of retired from all that a while ago. But I still think like it. But now I've got my pedigree as a game theorist. So I apply that. But that is an open variable and vector that I would not want in public. Just like your phone number. Once they have your phone number, they don't even need you anymore. They can just start dealing with a phone company and start SIM swapping. Once they know what your IP is, they can start with your ISP, right? Because it came from home base. You don't want someone to know where your parking spot is for your car. So that's...
Oh, man. It's like every time I listen to you for a while, I get like this feeling that my tabletop should have like reverse mirrors on them.
You mean
so nobody can sneak up on me? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Finbear,
you sneak up on me, man.
You have a green light to have my personal security chat. Both of these two have been through it. It's well worth your time to listen to.
I already remembered that I've shared my phone number with you, so I know I'm fucked either way.
Well, I'm the good guy, so like, believe me, if I wanted you, I could get you. But like, but the difference is like both Bluey and 43 got a personal training for me. And it's not that you have to use my method. It's that you have to understand why it's applicable. And once you understand why it's applicable, you actually can digest how and what these vectors work like. But NFTs that track IPs.
Okay. There's some people who are wanting to like maybe know what sort of attack vector there could be with someone knowing your IP. So let me throw something out there, okay?
Yeah, because again, 43 is actually more of a network engineer than I am, right?
So I wouldn't call myself a network engineer, but I've got an idea of some of the attack vectors. Let's say someone has your IP address, they can now like sort of pinpoint where you are. So they look on a map and they find out where you are and they can see your SSID of your Wi-Fi, right? They go hang out where you are and create an evil twin Wi-Fi account, right? which
Not a
looks
literal
like
thing.
your Wi-Fi
It looks
account.
like the one,
Not
but has a
yours.
different kind of a mustache.
Ah,
That's the giveaway.
No. What it is, it looks like it, and they set it up in a way that they go to log in to yours, right? And they get your password for your Wi-Fi. Now they have access to your Wi-Fi.
and then they can get free Wi-Fi.
No,
No, and then
run their
they've
network.
got your network. They're in your network. Then they're in your network.
Free Wi-Fi.
Oh,
Right.
in your computer,
They're into your net. Yeah, they're into your network.
Yeah, but that's where like you get key
into your
spoofers,
And
computer,
usually-
or just into your
Yeah,
network.
usually like one
Both.
of the biggest
Well-
holes in everybody's security system is their printer or something. That's just looking for an open web constantly with no passwords or anything. So
Do people
like
even
usually
have printers anymore?
what they do,
Yeah.
they keep them plugged in, but they don't like use it, and they could be like wireless
don't connect it up.
online. You could have
You don't
could
connect
have
it
the
up to the
best.
wireless. Don't connect
Yeah,
your
you
printer
could
up to wireless.
Yeah, you could have the best security in your own like devices, like laptops and phones and shit. But then you have the printer that your mom comes and uses every Christmas and plugs it in and prints her cards or whatever, and absolutely fucks it up because the printer wakes up and just injects all that shit into all your new stuff, and you're done for.
Well, so I can't really say anything because I'm bounded by friendship NDA, but I have a friend that's really, 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 he's not asking. I'm trying to get him in for a while, but he runs a company that can penetrate firewalls, infrastructure, and use a straw to basically move anonymously both through layers, layer 1, layer 2, and VPNs and things. What I'm going to say is these things are possible. In fact, I know the person who's the CEO of the company of these impossible possible things. So paying attention that they exist is probably in your best interest, right? It's just like storing your seed words on a napkin, and your cleaning lady comes in and throws away napkin, and then you bitching because you lost everything. Like, no, you wrote it on a napkin and you left it out as trash. So I can guarantee you there is a way to penetrate based on that stuff. And this is now. And everything I tell people is based on what happens in 15 years. In 15 years, like what we built games with 10 years ago doesn't even eclipse what we have now. This is money. This is finance. This is so much more. And if we can correlate it to happy-go-lucky game projects or fucking interoperability on your cell phone, it's going to get worse. So again, paying attention is vastly important that these things exist. And as someone that may stream, I mean, all of us, we're technically vulnerable because we've shown our face. We're a vector of attack, vector 2, right? And so now we have to realize that these other things are out there, and they're going to hunt for ways to exploit said value, right? And so that's all I can say, but I promise you they exist, and they're wild. Sorry, I'm looking for the link that I can get for that the shit I posted in the Cutthroat room. Where the fuck did I post that?
This
You know what,
sounds like something you're gonna have to visit my channel and we can talk on this.
Hey, well, we'll do a private session with you because I don't teach my shit publicly. But
Yeah, but we can talk about like general stuff too.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
this is stuff that people are interested in general, and like it's good to.
I mean I won Bluey over that encapsulated NFTs are actually important. So I believe that he's now on team fucking encapsulated learning how to protect yourself is also important. And then 43 is
I still believe that NFT is just like short for non-functioning testicles. But I'm going to open my mind and change my mind, and you seem like the guy who's gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, you
Because,
could have non-fat titsism too, but I'm just saying, in general, just be careful because
non-fat tits is actually the the opposite of
non-functioning.
there you go.
tit.ch.
What I'm saying is that an NFT essentially can hold a worm, a program, and interoperability, just like you can do it the other way, the benefit side, right? Both of which are applicable. You just have to be careful to understand it, because if someone theoretically sent an NFT that had a worm in it, it was kind of dangerous as fuck. Yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, yeah, this is what evil Larry would do, and not fucking good Lawrence. And that's
Do you have
dangerous.
to download that? Like, you have to download a copy of it?
I really don't even understand how it works. I just saw this. I dropped it.
You need the code on your system, right?
No, technically, all you have to do is open to sign to use the NFT in your fucking MetaMask account. Theoretically. Theoretically.
I think if you want theoretically, like the Israelis had designed software which you just needed to have stuff near other stuff, and they could get stuff. That's what they did to the Iranians.
Okay. So hold on, gentlemen. Let me pause real quick. So the whole OpenSea shit that's happening right now is they basically have a limit order or a buy order that's live, and other things happen and they move the NFT to another thing, but they come back and the limit order is still live because they set it up because OpenSea didn't fix it, and then they get forged, right? Because like the shit's already there, and that's essentially front running because you signed the transaction, you did it from your wallet, and you authorized it. It's done. It's the same thing. It's like
I think that's how they hacked. Recently, there was a hack of OpenSea. Alex was explaining it to us. It was like what they did was that they actually hacked the front end, like the website.
Correct.
And they bought the NFTs for an earlier price. It's like when the people first listed them.
Sure. And
so
then to unloose them, right? To stake them, unencapsulate them, whatever the fuck you want to call the terming. The second that they bring that there and they engage with the contract, the shit's front running them because they already like put it in there.
Something similar happened to Fork Delta users where they.
God, I remember Ether Delta.
Where they forgot they had an order open on Ether Delta, and then Fork Delta like forked the code.
Right. I remember.
And then when you went and funded your wallet that you had, when you funded the Ether Delta contract, it automatically just closed all the all the bits you had open from like trying to buy the dip of some shit token like 2 months ago, and now it's already crashed like 98%, and you still have an open offer for like 10,000x the price.
Because all the approvals were still...
because you signed it and you didn't cancel it, and sort of the order was still there, and as soon as it got the funds, of course there was a bot ready to sell at a ridiculous price.
Yep.
You get this one huge candle, and
you got to watch those approvals, man.
What I would advise everyone, if I was playing nonsense games, your wallet that you have all your funds in never talks to anything. You have a proxy that you send to do anything, and you just think like that. Like again, it's
Am I the only one who restakes to a new wallet? Like the years changed.
All of us.
Year changed over. It's time to get new treasures. Time to get new seed phrases, and all my restakes go to a new account.
You should.
So I'm gonna have like a.
Different seeds.
I'm gonna have a big bunch of treasures just hanging, like because I'm gonna have at least 15 of those.
You don't even need to have that many treasures. In fact, you you can just
just the seeds and the you can just, of course,
Well, if you have just one seed phrase and you're using multiple passphrases, then you could just have, like, when you load those seed phrases on that one set of seed phrase, then you're just typing in that, or not even typing into the computer. I would never do that. I would only ever just put it in manually into the passphrase into the device itself.
We talked that with all that with my particular private class. Like, as long as you air gap yourself, remove the commonality, a key spoofer or all the rest of that can only see what you copy paste. So if you have the ability to see something air gapped, then you type it in, right, and not copy paste, and then from there that's air gapped. Then you connect the internet and off you go.
Cool.
But hold on, I think I'm close to finding this goddamn shit I posted.
No, I'm being won over by this different seed for every steak. That's what I'm going to start doing now.
You should, because you already had my training. You know exactly how to hold all of those things.
And then just not even store it on a hardware device. As long as you got your keys all organized in a good way.
Correct. The hardware device is the handshake, right? It's the awareness to actually handle the contract on how you sign it. That's essentially what the seed phrase should do. Oh, where the fuck are you?
Guys, I'm going to have to hop off, but thanks for letting me on, because it's been like a week before since
it's getting late here as well.
Last got on.
We should probably end the stream, hey?
Yeah, well, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find this thing. I'm close.
Thanks for coming on.
I just found it. So Finbear, you are a gentleman and a scholar. You can have me on and some of me at any time. Let me figure out when you are meeting and available, and we will do a private session. So I'm posting this on Vice right now. I just popped that the thing. So basically, NFT OpenSea will steal your IP. And let me try to we all can like prove this together. So hold on, glasses, reading shit. NFTs, passive, blah blah blah. But you can harvest an IP through a demonstration how an ONT or an NFT marketplace that uses vendors to attack custom code, blah blah blah. Essentially, at the end of the day, if you've heard me talk for the last year, I'm thinking 15, 20 steps ahead. The fact that an NFT can harvest your IP address is just as dangerous when I was 16 and phone freaking onto people's phone lines, because I know where the little green box, I know in Australia you probably don't have this, but little green box that houses an entire neighborhoods of phone numbers. I can open those up, alligator clip on, to strip off the phone lines, alligator clip to double nipple in, and now I'm on your phone line.
We used to have them.
Yeah.
When I was in New York, I used to buy magic numbers.
No, 100%.
Back in the 90s.
So, like, again, we're wrapping the 2600 phone freaker mindset from back then into what's going on now. The fact that an NFT or something in your wallet, so, like, let's just say you look at your wallet and you have a new rareable. I don't know what this is. I'm going to go check it out. I've got a new NFT. Airdrop. Now it's getting in there. That's dangerous. But it's the opposite of what I've said that we can do with the positive mindset of NFTs. Just remember there's a good and a bad, right? And so you just got to be aware of what's going on. But yeah, so I dropped that link in there. Again, this is their OpenSea shit, and maybe it's not the most invasive thing at this moment, but the idea of it is kind of terrifying because you don't know. Let's just say you do have NFTs in OpenSea, but what's this new one that you just got sent? You wouldn't know the difference. And once you interact with it, you're playing with the devil right there, right? So, like, it's...
Do you think that that's just a matter of these wallets just getting features, like better features, like perhaps having like an authorized receive, or maybe not even authorized receive, but an authorization of showing it, of displaying what's there, so that you wouldn't be tempted to interact unless you maybe it's just like we're needing upgraded wallets.
Well, so that's what the one thing I really like about, Alex from Hedron is he thinks like me. Like, same thing as let's just say of K4K crypto. When I heard about him talk about PulseX, and I was listening to him, he thinks exactly like me. So I give him a tip of the hat because it took me 14 years of game dev and experience to think like I do. And the fact that he's doing those things and asking the right questions makes me appreciate him. But he can actually code, whereas I'm a puzzler, right? Like I would be paired with someone like him for a strike team. That's where in game dev land, I'd be paired with a scripter. I'd be paired with a programmer. I'd be paired with an artist. And then I'm the level designer, level architect, and I'm the puzzler. But when you listen to those guys talk, they think correctly. So I can't interpret what you could do. I would need another pair of my strike team to come in and understand that. And then they'd come back to me and be like, that would work, that will work. And I'd be like, well, if I was being evil or I was trying to like play pieces against each other, what happens if I do this? And then the coder or the fucking person that specializes in the field of the strike team would say, yes, that's vulnerable. I'm like, okay, then what happens if I do this? And again, I know what I could do back in the day on spoofing a trumpet windsock or having a keylogger or having all of the things that I understand from back when I was a little more malicious than I am now. But the fact that I can say that they are coming with this kind of stuff allows ports to be opened. And again, I know someone that's a CEO of a company that can move their ports. So that is concerning. But the thing is that we as Hexicans educate all of us on what is around, and we don't play dumb. So as I look into it, we'll all report back. But just realize signing shit from your wallet, looking at shit from your wallet, and especially if something pops up out of dumb shit, you should probably not do anything with it, right? Don't engage, don't click bad links, especially if you have legacy wallets. And like Finbear was saying before, same thing that Blue and 43 was saying, as your pre-big payday stakes come out, split those fuckers up, right? Split them up, make it very, very, very secure, and do your research on encrypted databases. If you find the breadcrumbs, you will be very, very happy. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. We should probably leave it there, hey? It's been a solid
that was a
2
good
hours,
that was
42 minutes.
Good wrap up. Have to hop off, guys.
I'm exhausted.
Let's just wind it up, hey. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thanks for listening in. It's been a pleasure speaking with all of you guys as per usual, and we will see you on the flip side. Peace.
Take care.
See you guys.